Why is my stamina not regenning? Oh,
I
there
don't
we
know.
go. I fixed it.
Start broadcasting. I want to make sure my screen is correct, so I'm gonna have to check this. Excuse me. The broadcast has started. Stop broadcasting. How do I change my screen again? I don't remember how to do that. Let me see. Let me see this. Broadcasting settings. Sharing and broadcasting settings. Link the video clip. Screenshot. Broadcasting settings. Let me see this. Broadcasting settings. Advanced settings. Audio sharing, display messages to specters and specters comments. Nope, don't do that. And there we are. So it should just be the normal screen. There we go. We are on the air and live.
Yeah, I'm live.
We are live. Live at 5. Oh boy.
This is what I brought you, this you can keep. This is what I brought you, they forget me. And we're all
Sir,
getting...
could you please not? Could you please not? Could you please not? Could you please not do that? We're supposed to be professional.
It is I, Belvedere, do
Sip your
not
tea.
fear.
Sip your tea. Sip your tea and be a good boy. Sip your tea and be a good boy until the stream starts. I guess we
Stream is
can
off.
get the juices flowing.
It's going.
Go ahead and get the comments rolling in for this. Library videos.
It is
Make sure
I,
I get into that.
Belvedere, Belvedere's dead brother.
Oh boy. Oh dear.
And it starts. Oh, I already got 2 viewers, okay. Alright, we're off to an amazing start.
Cool.
3, I'll bet. Alright, here we go. Here we go.
So collective. So collective, it's 4
awesome.
then.
Yeah.
Got one on mine and 3 on yours.
That's good. Unless they're the same people on both.
Good. Watch both of them. Gonna give some traction. Hello everybody. So this is just a stream before the stream. We're gonna be talking about pretty much the state of PvP collectively. We're gonna be nice. We're always gonna be nice about how we feel about the game. We're not gonna say anything too volatile.
Hi, Reeves.
Per se, right, Reaper? We're gonna be good boys today.
I have to hold back.
We're gonna be good boys today, right, Reaper?
I guess so. Guess so. I guess we can say that.
We're gonna be good boys today. I promise. We're not gonna say anything out of line. We're gonna be good boys. We're gonna be good boys.
Make sure the audio's working.
Yeah.
All right.
The actual thing will get started in the next 15 minutes. The stream will start in the next 15 minutes. We're just here to bring some reliable banter. Bring a nice little
This is like the pre-show. This is where everybody comes in and they talk and they, we start getting that warm up. It's like the walking around in the stadium before the game starts.
Yeah, man, we're just chilling right now. Getting our D's together.
Yeah, get the audience together.
Dude, I'm hungry. Are you hungry?
Yeah, I could go for some hearty, and you just never provided that. You just gave me this wine and herbal. Like, what the hell?
I mean, there's a fridge downstairs, dude.
Killer Rays wants to know how old you are, Mars.
I'm 26.
And here we go. Let's start. He's gonna ask us.
How you doing? How you doing, Rays?
Yeah. I know who Rays is.
I don't live in Wisconsin. I'm joking. I live in Georgia. I am hungry right now. I was not hungry
I'm telling you
before.
what, dude. This has almost got me ready to go dress up in my Reaper costume and come in here and live stream.
Oh god, here we go. You didn't have a webcam. Don't even have a webcam.
I do actually. I do.
Oh shit. Here we go.
Do you not remember looking at my old videos of my Reaper costume playing chess?
God.
Then it'll be like me sitting down at the bottom left of my screen on the YouTube, and then it'll be Esty sitting here.
Jesus.
Just so much negative death around us, Just
like
death,
that, man.
Death energy. Let me tell you.
I don't even want to talk about what's going on right now. It's too much shit going on. Way too much shit.
No, it's not.
Oh, really? Really? There isn't? Besides all the pandemonic fucking vibes, there's a fucking comet passing by the Earth at, like at Mach speed.
We're not. Yeah, that's something. That's a little different.
Well, not a comet, an asteroid.
Asteroid. Yeah, so you don't even know what you're talking about anymore. No, I'm kidding.
Damn right I don't know what I'm talking about. I lose my shit over here.
Don't panic. It's okay. If it hits us, it'll go to Russia. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Did you say you were going to Russia? I'm not opposed to that, honestly.
I'm saying, if the asteroid's about to hit, it'll go to Russia. You know, that's a joke back to when the meteor actually did hit Russia.
Holy shit, that's fucked up.
It is. I have.
That's fucked up. Jesus.
Oh my god, the cat's in my face. What's up? Yeah? You want to be part of the podcast?
Oh, that actually got me out of my chair. Let me sit back down.
See, look at you. You can't even say sit down. What, you got ADHD?
I'm sorry, man. Hey, it's the stream before the stream, man. You can't get mad at me.
What? Okay. Some stuff going on the private server. What's up, Jay? How you doing, man? I haven't seen Jay in a minute, man. Jay's been a good old pal back in the day. You gonna sit here?
Who?
Jay, you know Jay from I ain't gonna say the server. It was the server we went to where where a certain thing happened and the server went down and black magic was used that day.
Oh, yeah, oh yeah.
The second server with the black magic, not the first.
I'm not gonna say any names.
No, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. Not even gonna...
Nope, not even talk about it. Not even talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm not gonna bring anything up. It's not that kind of podcast. We can talk about
black magic. That's all.
Black magic. That's it.
That's it. So, yeah, we know who you are, Jay. No, don't.
Forbidden transgressions.
Yeah, we know who you are, Jay.
Forbidden transgressions. Forbidden transgressions.
Any questions, Jay? Or Killa, or whoever else is in the stream. If you got any questions, you can shoot to us. Just to talk to us, you know. Let us know you're here and you're interested.
Oh, folks got in. I'll be right back.
We got 10 minutes left before we get into the delivery of all the good old stuff in the. Yes, this is about the current state of PvP raids. 10 minutes from now, we're gonna be. In about 10 minutes, we'll definitely be going over all the broken stuff and talking about all the stuff that doesn't make sense and all the stuff that we need to talk about to address certain things that we may not think is fair. Nah, just type it out, man. Right now we're on a private thing going on. I want me to grab a headset. You're ready to go off. We gotta be good boys here. Can't go too far. We're looking for changes. We're looking for. We're coming in with the mindset that everybody's coming in with the idea that we all agree that there's some things in this game we don't totally agree with, and we gotta address these things, and hopefully addressing these things and getting a wide audience to know that we're addressing these things, we can get them changed. But we have to come in with a positive mindset. We have to let an old transgression go. You know, we just gotta stay calm. Don't get too emotional about it. Horses and thralls and all that stuff, we'll be covering that first, I believe. We'll be talking about good things and bad things, so this should help out a lot. 6, 6, 20, 12, 22. What is that knocking? Is that the dancer? Of course they're just gonna stomp around. Look at my guy. Look at this. Staring down y'all's soul, man. We're waiting for Mars to get back here. Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. I was sitting here.
Yo, Irish Sage, how are you doing, man? Only Irish Sage is in the party. What's up, man?
Of course. I've also got some people coming from Twitch right now. Malo might be able to support us from the Twitch area of the live stream. Man, cool.
Well, not just support. I mean, we would like.
Well, he can broadcast our broadcast.
Oh, cool.
I'm thinking so. It's cold, dude. I was just telling these guys about how well behaved you're gonna be during this.
What are you telling how well behaved you're gonna be during this? I'm always well behaved.
Oh, Mars. We don't have to focus on that.
The only exception is when I'm not. The only exception is when I'm not.
Right. The only time you should be worried about me is when I'm doing the thing that you're worrying about me doing. That's what you just said. Yeah, officer. The only time you should be worried about me robbing a bank is when I've already robbed the bank.
Oh, you actually got Conan Sage? I really recommend.
Go to a private server.
PvE conflict or PvE. Yeah, that or PvE conflict server, and work your way into it. Don't make the mistake I did and go into a full-fledged server with a war on your first ever server for Conan.
Isn't that what we all do? We just go in and we just we come in learning the game and we just go into a war with somebody that's probably been playing for about a year or more. They just wipe you real quick and it's like, well, man.
Yes.
I wish I would have knew that before I went to a war.
PvE conflict server.
And you didn't even know that that was epic legendary?
Biggest regret.
Didn't know anything about legendary weapons, just started with a dragon bone spear and like some regular light armor, gives you like 58 armor. Ready for war. And then a Yogg touch just comes out of nowhere, but we'll get more into that later. So what's our first topic we're going to be covering, Bostic?
Thralls.
Okay, so we're going to be covering thralls. Yeah, Jay, we're going to be covering thralls, horses, and stuff like that.
We're probably going to talk about as much as we can.
We're going to talk about almost everything that we disagree and agree with the PvP at the moment, but we just got to get to it. Yeah. We got 4 more minutes before we start diving into this, letting the crowd get together. How many views you got going on over there?
Like one guy.
We got 1. I got 11.
Oh, Mr. Popular over here.
I knew that you was gonna say that. I knew it. I literally was just picturing your response being those exact words, and they were.
Oh, I mean, like it's kind of stereotypical. I mean,
No, it's okay. Everybody.
Yeah, pretty much everybody's gonna say it. Yeah.
Mr. Popular over here. 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Yeah. I know Jay's excited to hear about what we have to say. 12 viewers. Alright, we're getting there. We're climbing. Should I read off my my promotional ad?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Do you really think I should?
Yeah, go for it, man.
The one, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Just do it.
I'm afraid.
Oh wow, he's afraid. Nice stage fright. I'm going out. I'm out of here. See you later. Bye.
No, no, you ain't. You come here. Let me pull it up real quick. It's somewhere. I have it somewhere in my saved folder. Just for this moment. In fact, let me make sure I look around so I don't blue screen from not moving. Something else we'll talk about later.
Oh boy.
You should have put this in the group chats on FB. Yeah, you can. Why don't you do it real quick, Jay? If you can. I put it on Twitter and I put it on YouTube and everywhere else I could think of. I didn't think about the Facebook community. You could throw it in there. I'd appreciate it. Here we go. Here we go.
That would help out.
That would definitely help out a lot. Here we go. Attention. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with getting one-shotted by thralls, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Delusional PvEers who use horses in official PvP to fight because they can't win any other way is a rare cancer-like disease linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos located in the Navy shipyards, Conan Exiles, mills, heating, construction, and the automotive industries, which will put you at risk. Please don't wait. Call 1-800-HELP-PvP today for a free legal consultation and financial information packet on how to properly balance Conan Exiles. What's up, Oaks? How you doing, man?
Oh, the Mosey Oaks. The Mosey Oaks.
There he is. Oaks. Wonder how he's doing. She's got like a beat going now. What's up, Broski? How you doing? Listen to them feet pitter patter in the back. You hear that, dude? She's got a beat going.
It's our lovely Darfari and Black Hand Camp dancers.
We love you too, Oaks. Put the vodka down. I can't do that. You gotta keep this kind of vibe going the whole day. Dang. Oaks just roasted me in my own chat.
Okay. I think it's time to start, boys.
Alright.
So... excuse me. Let me take a sip of my drink and I'll be ready to go.
Let's water our throats because there's going to be a lot of talking here.
Yep. Hello, Warriors. This is Mars. Welcome to the Exiles podcast, the state of PvP. I am Mars, and this is my lovely associate, the Reaper of Chess. Today we're going to talk about balancing. We're going to talk about a lot of different things in terms of PvP, the state of PvP really. Really, we're going to give all our opinions.
Good morning, Jack, right? How you doing,
We're going to give all our opinions without... We're going to give all our opinions without having to be,
aggressive or rude about
overly, yeah.
Emotional.
Yeah. we want people to actually see it, and we want people to actually give us feedback. Ugh, excuse me, I just ate. Yeah, that's pretty much the
way to start it off.
Yeah, man. Fucking barbarians, what the hell do you expect?
Yeah, that's true, we are. Hoo ha! No.
So, let's go ahead and jump, oh boy, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first thing we really want to talk about is thralls. If you had noticed, thralls are really strong, like really big PP. Let me not talk like that. But thralls are like really imbalanced, really imbalanced. In terms of just overall health and damage, they really do most of the work.
Thralls are
Chime in anytime you want, Reaper.
A little Superman compared to how we are. we're like the Joker and Batman, right? And then we have the occasional Batman player, and then we have Superman, which is a thrall. Weakened by only a non-PvPer there for you to just poke them for about 30 minutes to kill them. Just for them to hyper armor you one time, to hit you one time and kill you. That's where we're at with that. And that needs taken down a lot, with not even just talking about their health and armor values, but their multipliers against the player. That needs to be lowered.
Honestly,
by at least 50%.
If they just reduce the multiplier on official for thralls, it would really make it a lot better.
Like just by 50%. They do have
a little bit more than that, honestly. A little bit more. Like they were talking about. Have you seen the video that Firespark posted about the thrall nerf? It really didn't do anything. It really did not do anything.
It did not. This thing still one-shot you easily, effortlessly. And if they got Yogg, get ready for the leap that has phantom range just to one-shot you. They need to definitely make it.
The damage is just ridiculous. And the amount of health they can still have. I mean, most thralls, like, if you get a good Delencia, she'll have like 16k health and she'll wipe out your whole base by herself. Thralls can go through walls. That's just the basis of it. Now, in terms of the AI, and like the AI, the way thrall AI is, they can attack pretty much anything. It doesn't take any effort. They'll wipe you out really easily.
Yeah. And they don't even have to have a good weapon either. They really don't. You just get a Dragon Bone, double sword, double sword, two-handed sword, and they'll just it'll be like instantaneous. They'll just one-shot you. And in my opinion, there should be nothing that 1 to 2 shots you in a game like this because of lag, latency, phantom range, and other things like that. You could just your screen freeze for a split second, then all of a sudden, boom, it's over. And then we also got to get into the fact that there's a bug right now with the outside raid time attacking.
Yes,
that needs fixed.
That is a big one. A lot of people don't know this. You can actually use thralls to attack people outside of raid time. And there's no repercussions against it.
And your thrall can't stop their thrall either. And it's really bad. You basically have a Superman that is almost a you have a Terminator. He can't be staggered, can't be damaged. And he can just one-shot you. So he's literally just the Terminator outside of raid time. And it's pretty bad. It definitely needs to get looked at.
Was there anything else you wanted to touch on thralls? I mean, there's the AI.
The AI itself, like, if they was able to do something like a lot of other games do, where they was able to add like the thrall's ability to know that there's incoming damage and dodge out, then they wouldn't have to be as tanky as they are. Like, they'd be able to just occasionally roll out every now and then, and, like, give some kind of like fight. Even then, even if they don't, like just don't have them one-shot you. There should be nothing in the game that one-shots you, player or thrall, unless it's fall damage. Even then,
or a god.
You have a chance.
Or a god.
Or a god, yeah, because a god is a god, but compare a god to a thrall.
We'll be touching on gods too. We'll be talking about gods too, because I have my opinions on that since they're coming back.
I have my opinion. I have a lot of opinions.
So next, I think we should talk about horses. Oh, what are you saying?
I said back in the day, thralls, when they did one shot, there was some counterplay and knocking them out, but then a lot of people abused that to duplicate. So, I mean, now you can't really go off of just coming in with a blunted daggers or anything and knock them out and have a fair fight between a player.
Yeah, or blunted plague.
Yeah.
So let's.
Jack Wright wants to know. He says riding a horse while having a thrall follow you as well. What's your opinions on that?
It is absolute cancer.
I wouldn't say the word cancer.
Completely blunt about that.
But it's really bad.
It's
kind of a bad choice because when you think of it, I think they're making strides to let players have more freedom.
Honestly, yeah, that's kind of how I feel, and they are listening. You can't really say they're not listening, because people asked for that once that came out, and they did exactly that for them. Granted, I wish it wasn't to the extent of where it is, because the way
I think
that,
they should have balanced the thralls before they did that.
yeah, thralls should have been heavily balanced before that. Like, it's not even just about AI, it's really about health and damage. They're almost unstoppable at times. If you have a really good thrall, like a really good one, like 15 to 16k health, 70 to 90 strength, really good stats with heavy armor, you can almost never kill them. It's too big a risk to ever walk near them.
You can't do anything if they're on a horse too. If they have a horse and thrall, you know, you can't PvP them. And there's a lot of things that you can think of, like as a PvP player and strategist
you'd
as I
have
am.
to fight somebody on equal measure.
Me and Bostic have tried this. We went into a private and we tried every counter you can think of, blunted arrows to everything to counter the horse. And the best thing that we can tell you guys is smoke arrows, jabal claws, katana, and that's it. You can't do anything else than that, because the one shot.
A lot of that is with the katana. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but the katana, it's a live by the sword, die by the sword kind of thing. You'd have to build up the actual what is it, the heavy attack modifier? Yeah, the heavy attack modifier. So you'd have to swing 4 times.
Yeah, it's the procting. It's you gotta proct it. That needs fixed too, but we'll get onto that later.
Yeah, but yes, you can use thralls on PvP Sage.
Yeah, thralls do no damage to horses. That's also another thing we could talk about, how thralls and archers don't do damage to the horses.
Really, I wanted to talk a bit more about how there's no initial counterplay. I mean, you could use palisades, but that can be
then how are you gonna do that on their? Yeah, that's unrealistic. How are you gonna put down palisades on their land claim?
At times, yeah.
Or in the unnamed city, or anywhere where you cannot build. What are you gonna do if I'm running you over in the dungeon?
Can you ride horses in dungeons?
Yes.
Oh. That's toxic.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Nothing really. But yeah, I wanted to talk more about that. Like, we did test it. We tested blunted arrows, tested arrows on thralls, we tested smoke, gas, and acid. We're hoping acid would at least break the saddle, but there's no durability loss on the saddle. Because, I mean, if you were able to break the saddle, you'd be able to dismount the horseman. That would at least bring some counterplay into it, but there was nothing there to actually counter it. Excuse me. But yeah, we tried a lot of different things, and the fact that none of that worked, it just made it difficult. So, like, yeah, in terms of just horses being, what were you gonna say? Were you talking about more horse balancing stuff? Or what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, if you get hit at all, yeah, the acid should destroy the saddle, like Oak says, but sometimes I don't know if they didn't think about it, or they didn't test it, or if something like they just thought that it would.
I think it came down to lack of testing. That's probably what it was.
Too, but
honestly, I feel like horses are an interesting idea, but they need to be balanced heavily.
Like there should be no way that one horseman can kill 36 players.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have that. We have that clip. And honestly, one guy on a horse and a thrall can kill 36 players.
And that's not to discredit anyone by saying anybody can horse PvP, which is true. It's just saying that horse PvP.
There should always be counterplay to everything you have.
Yeah, there really should be. Because, I mean, you can't even dismount a horseman unless the horse itself loses stamina, or if he dies of any kind of causes.
And the HP on the horse is too high to kill it.
Yeah.
Like if the horse health was like at 270 or something, then maybe that'd make sense. But the thing's in the thousands. You can't just shoot it and then the horse dies. Like, it would make sense if it was lower health. Like then it would be counterable, because then you could at least do some damage to it. But you can't. It's like a thrall.
What's the horse average health? What's the horse's average health?
I have no idea.
Oaks
I just know
might
it's
know.
in the thousands.
Oaks. Oaks, you can hear me. Put the what's the average health for horses in the chat? Put that in the chat, please. Rupert, tell me what it is.
We're waiting for him to do. While we wait for that, I feel as if there was any kind of damage given to horses have 5 to 9k, it varies. So let's just say about 4,000.
Wait, 5 to 9?
Yeah.
5 to 9,000.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Horses need to be reduced to at least like 3,000.
They should have no. I honestly don't think they should have that much either.
Way less.
Because
way less. That's way too much. You'll never be able to kill it.
I know, that's what I'm trying to say, is there's no counterplay. Like, you'd think that if you were to turn around and start trading with Yogg, you'd have a chance. You're wrong.
Yeah, you can't even break... You can't really even kill their stam like that either. Because I've tried just standing there and trying to take
Yogg touch is OP.
It's
we'll touch on that on the different... after another topic, because we have talked about things with the weapons as well that'll be coming up soon after we get done with this horse talk here. We're thinking... How would I win against the Blade of the Seven Winds? Try a ranged game. If you have a spear, you can poke and roll if you have a good amount of agility, or if you have a arrow or throwing axes, that usually helps fighting them, because you can just you can hit them while they're in their animation.
Yeah.
Compared to
elephants, all they would have to do is run away. All they'd have to do is run away.
That's fine, but I mean, at that point it's a matter of who has more grit, or if somebody pulls out a horse. Like, a horse should be made more for chasing people down and mobility instead of actual PvP, because if you think about it, in I know it's a video game, I know, but in real life, no horse ever charged into a spear wall, ever. They had to be blindfolded because the horses themselves would not kill themselves for something like that. So, I think the horses should have about 400 HP. I don't know what anybody else says about it.
I wouldn't say 400 HP.
I do.
Dead too quick. I think 1,500 would be a healthy medium. 1,500 to 2,000. That's acceptable. You gotta think about it realistically here. If horses died that easy, nobody would use them. I think the horses are a good addition, but they need a lot of balance.
They do. And the damage that they do, not on top of it, how it always does the 4th hit damage, it's so OP that you can't even melee somebody off a horse.
There is a bug. There is a bug that people can like.
Yeah, they can 4th hit combo and go on the. They can go on the horse. Or there's also another thing going on right now with some encumbrance trick I saw not too long ago on somebody's YouTube. I would plug them, but I don't know their YouTube. But they figured out how to use encumbrance as a way to get on the horse to where you're over encumbered but not over encumbered, and they'll run people over, and when you go over the player, it kills them by being crushed. Wow. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Okay, moving on to pets. Pets are like thralls in terms of just AI.
Yeah,
Yo, what up, Brooklyn? How you been?
What is the best healing combination? Well, realistically, in an official server, it would be like Hardy, Stew, and Herbal. But if you talk about unrealistic means, like admin panel type stuff, then it would be Turketo or Jabal Feast with Herbal.
Yeah.
There was an exploit to have 3 thralls follow you. It wouldn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. It probably is true. No, he says that there's an exploit for it. I believe it 100%.
Just kicking it, man. Just kicking it. Just talking about the state of PvP in this game. How you been? So yeah, what were you saying? Yeah, pets. I mean, like, I guess pets are kind of in the same place as thralls, but just nowhere near as powerful. What do you think, Reaper, on that?
I don't know, man. I've seen a saber-tooth knock someone down to get one-shotted by a horse, or I've seen a saber-tooth one-shot a player, and I think the whole multiplier thing needs to be adjusted.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, the pets gain no negative perks.
Which is interesting. Yeah. It makes them, I mean, they kind of have to do that since they're reliant on their agility for armor.
And he's had some Sand Reapers that one-shot players on boosted servers with half thrall damage. And that's ridiculous.
Really? Is it the green ones or the other ones?
The green ones.
Oh yeah, they'll kill you anyway.
That's what I'm trying to say, is that shouldn't be a factor. I feel like thralls need to go from being the heroes to being like a buffer. They need to be like that fodder that you put in front of you, or the something to tank. That's it. I don't think they should be doing the damage that they do.
I kind of agree. With that. It's more like they should be equal, but just like 10% stronger. That should be it, honestly.
I don't think they should be stronger than the player at all, just for the plain fact that the player in PvP, that's in the name of player versus player. Like in PvE and PvEC, you know what? Go all out. You can do whatever you want. But like when it comes to PvP and we're going for PvP specifics, there should be no thrall outplaying a player. I don't believe in that. That doesn't make the game balanced. That just makes it to where
I agree with you.
People's gonna hide behind their thrall to do the fighting. I mean, if you was about to get your butt kicked by a bully in high school and you had someone you paid protection to and he's like 2 times the dude's size, you're probably gonna hide behind him. You're not gonna fight the dude head on.
Pretty much, yeah. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But I still think, instead of saying they should be 10% stronger, they should be, well, really just, if not equal, just slightly stronger. That's kind of where I'm at. Because
I believe in equal. They can be equal. Content. I believe in there being like equal, because then then it's your brain,
Yeah. Yeah, at least like for PvP, a lot of guys who don't like to use thralls or use thralls, they could be on equal footing, really.
Yeah, like how do you like if you think about it, how would you PvP if you were able to go one shot? Like you get this dude out-stam, like right, you outplayed him, he's stammed out, just for a star to go up and just whoop, one shot you, you're dead. That isn't really.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's not really PvP. Like if he walked up to you and he hit you, I know. How many times have it happened that you just sit there and all of a sudden a thrall teleports to a one shot? It's like they take that seriously. They take that seriously.
Like, I'd rather fight 6 people at once.
Oh, I know. I'd rather fight a bunch of players rather than thralls, dude.
I
could do 1v3s, 1v4s, man, or the lag.
Because at least you'd have a chance. That's really that's me being completely honest. I'm not joking. I'd rather fight 3 to 6 people at once rather than try and fight a thrall. If there's even one really good thrall there, I'm not gonna fight because it's only a matter of time until he hits me.
Yeah, it's literally taking a gamble. And he's gonna hit you. He will hit you. There's nothing you can do if you're playing against another player.
Like legitimately, if you hear me say that, you can take that with a grain of salt. I'm being totally honest. I'd rather fight 6 people than fight any thralls. I really would. It's too much. It's too much of a risk. But back on the pets, yeah, saber cats. I've actually think I've made a saber cat or a tiger like that before. They can get up there. They can get up there. But that's usually the only ones, other than the Sand Reapers, that can do that kind of damage. To my knowledge,
you think if you was able to get you outplay somebody, you should be rewarded for it in this game. That was the whole point of adding fatigue to your stamina system. Like you outplay somebody, then you should get that reward. What's up, Malo? Welcome to the stream, man. If you outstam somebody, your thrall, I believe, can come up and hit somebody, but they should not be one-shotting. Like, if it was to knock me out of my combo to save you, I can see it. You know what I mean? Like, that makes sense. But your thrall should not walk up and just completely. I had to sit there and think of my words very carefully before I said that.
Obliterate you. Yeah.
Yeah, just completely annihilate you.
Okay. Let's
Yeah, we was just talking about that.
Boom, move on to the next section.
We was just talking about the saber-tooth knocking people down and one-shotting.
What did he ask about?
He said great saber knocked you down for a couple seconds. It's very strong. It is very, very strong, and I think it needs nerf too. I think just everything with the thralls and the NPCs, with the multipliers against players, should just. I don't even think they should really exist. It should be the
raw
stats.
If they reduce the multipliers, honestly, yeah. If they reduce the multipliers, that would be nice because it would be much more balanced than where it is. Okay.
Like you should be rewarded in PvP with.
Okay.
You know.
Do we want to keep talking about throws, or we want to move on?
I mean, we'll probably come back to it in between because that's one of the biggest problems of PvP. But we'll come back. We'll move on, but they'll probably come up again. What's the next?
Okay, the next thing we should probably talk about is weapon balancing.
Oh my God, the bow. Oh my God, the bow. The accuracy stat in the bow is the most broken thing in this game. The most broken player thing in this game.
Thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. Someone asked me about making a bow build like a week or 2 ago. Reaper showed me his, and we cannot show any bow builds anymore. Absolutely none. No bow builds, none. I don't ask.
Yeah, they need to completely.
I'm not gonna be responsible for that. I refuse to be responsible for that.
If they want to take PvP seriously, right, and actually support the PvP community, I think accuracy stat needs to just be removed and let the actual strength do the scaling to ranged weapons.
I I can get behind that. I can get behind that.
Like, because there should be no string on a wooden pike or whatever stick you have do more damage than me thrusting a spear through your chest. I'm sorry, that's just not.
And really, this is a melee-based game.
Yeah.
Me personally, I've used bow for a long time, and the damage has never
Call of Conan.
it is never Call of Conan. Yeah, man. It has never been. It should have never been this high in terms of damage.
I see an archer build
like
coming. Yeah, put my gear away. Yeah, same I would too, dude.
It literally does 50% more damage than most weapons in the game. The only thing it matches is like Yacht's Touch.
Not even that. Not even that. Like this, the bow itself. No, like look, the bow itself, right? With just regular dragon mode can 4-shot people in medium, right? I have to do a full combo with a Yogg to kill you. That's what, 4 to 5 hits, not counting that you're hitting me too. But if I have a bow, you're not hitting me. I'm just circling you or I'm moving around you. You're just going plink, plink, plink. You're dying. Like it can't be touched. Pretty much, yeah. You try to hit me, you're stationary when you do a strike, so you can't do any movement attacks like Dark Souls type stuff.
I don't think you can donate, Seeks. I appreciate that though. I don't think you can donate because I don't have enough subs.
He could donate. You just gotta set up a PayPal and donation. I'll take your donation if you don't want it.
No, man. No.
I'm just kidding,
I appreciate
bro.
that, Seeks. You don't have to worry about it, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful to know that the bow build is still a prime example of why Conan needs balanced.
Or really a practice of what is it? A practice what is it?
Just accuracy itself. The whole stat accuracy needs to be just out of it. That needs to either be nerfed to the ground, or it needs to just be gone and let weapon scaling become off of strength. So that way, there's not multiple weapon scaling. Because this is the problem.
I feel
right?
like if they did that, they'd have to redo the whole attribute system.
No, they'd have to just scale the strength with accuracy. Just put the accuracy within the strength
What they do about the extra attribute points?
What do you mean? What attribute? I mean, then you're able to put in vitality, grit. I mean, your people running around with fucking 1 grit and 1 encumbrance, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Like it wouldn't
Trust
be
me, I know.
much
It's
of
just
a difference.
But it's like the way that this attributes have been set up. They'd have to make some changes to it, don't you think?
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know, because then you'd be able to actually get some survival in there to add more things. So they could also add a toughness attribute.
That would make it interesting, honestly.
Make a toughness
like, there's
attribute.
that theory, and there's. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just make a toughness attribute and let hyper armor scale off of toughness, so that way people can't just have light armor and with enough agility, hyper armor a heavy armor player. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. Because really,
that stuff to toughness.
Look. Yeah, because really, let's tell the truth. Like, light armor and agility is, in terms of hyper armor, is far more superior than heavy armor. To be fair, just because the recovery on light armor is just way better than heavy armor to begin with. You could have tier 4 agility and heavy, but your roll recovery would just nowhere be near as good. Let me plug my headset in.
Get to the muskets.
Come on, man, chill, man. Don't say that in here.
I'm not. That's just a comment.
Just stop it.
Crossbows.
Stop it.
Listen, right? Just the bows in general and axes, just anything ranged, or they could do the easy way out. I'm holding my tongue. I'm not gonna say anything else. They could take the easy way out and just remove auto lock with ranged weapons. Because then you'd actually have to hit your shot and be rewarded for it.
Sorry about that, my headset died.
Right, no, you're good. Did you hear me?
No, I did not. Say that again.
I said they could just make it to where ranged weapons take the easy way out and take the auto lock off of ranged weapons. Like throw axes,
and as well.
No auto lock.
Do that.
Like then it makes sense that you can 4-shot somebody with a bow. Because how often do you hit a free aim shot on a bow unless you have a mouse and keyboard? Even then, that's still going to be rough.
That's the main thing too. Yeah, it is. Honestly, I feel like they should take that route. They should have been taking off the auto aim for throwing axes. I kind of say they kind of play around with throwing axes a bit more.
It needs to be
for bows.
You have to outnumber the horse. Yeah, that's. Hope the rider is a bot. I mean, that's something. That's a hope game. Then, and you know what they say in chess games and strategy games. You don't play hope chess, bub. This should be a straight. It should be straight yes or no type of thing. It shouldn't be. Well, we could try this, and if it works, nah. I don't believe in hope. That isn't how the game should be based off of. At that point, we should have just kept the crit axe in here.
Oh man, like
I'm glad they removed that. That was a good. That was good.
Let's move on. Let's not even talk about that. Let's not even talk about that. Because that.
Right.
I feel like that could have been I feel like that was a good idea, but it just had too much damage. It was too easy to one-shot people.
Yeah, you shouldn't be one-shotting anybody.
It was far too easy.
Like I could see like half their health or something.
Or even an extra percentage, like an extra 10 or 15% damage.
But like I said, nothing.
But it was like
nothing should be two-shotting to one-shotting anybody in this game.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go off of that.
Shouldn't.
Nothing should 2 to 3 shot anybody. You should have to at least land 4 shots to kill somebody, at least.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of the ideas they've implemented have been really good. They've just been too strong or don't work at all.
They don't think about the PvP side of it. They think about the PvE. They think about player versus thrall.
Pretty much,
stuff.
yeah. Because the crit axe was honestly a very interesting idea, and I like it, but it's just too powerful, far too powerful. A lot of people coasted on that for PvP, and it's like there was no counterplay unless you had that. That was the only counterplay, and that really should not have been how it was. That's my honest opinion.
Like there should also be nothing in this game that makes it where you're forced to play a certain way just because FU type manner. You know what I mean? There should never be anything in the game that forces you to play a certain type of way because it's just better. Like that's how you have to play now.
Honestly, that's kind of how a lot of people felt during the spear meta. I'm bringing that up now.
I mean, you could have a spear, but back in the spear meta, I could rock a sword and shield, and I have videos of it way back in the day, and I could kill anybody with a sword and shield in those days.
That is true. That is very true. But a lot of people
nobody thought about
complained about the spears. A lot of people complained about the spears.
If you're fighting the arrow, right? The bow build we was just talking about. Sorry to come back on this topic, but if you think about it, you'd think sword shield or axe and shield would be the go-to against like axe players and stuff like that, throwing axe players. But you're wrong. They'll just run up to your shield, and because of the high damage from Yog's touch, you can't do anything with a jump and a dodge and a jump and a dodge and throwing axes. You can't do anything.
Let's save spears for last and let's jump right into axes. Yo, what up, Squiddy? So like the axes, man. I'm an old school axe player. I love axes, but I gotta tell the truth. Like the hyper armor on axes is too high. The only thing that can really match it. The only thing that can match it is a longsword, and a longsword can almost never break the hyper armor of an axe.
Like I should be able to poke. Like I'm thinking that the. Sorry to cut you off, right?
You're good. Good.
But I think the axe's first attack is all it should have hyper armor. Even then, people are still abusing the infinite jump. But we're not going to.
Because people complained about spear having that much hyper armor back in the day. Remember that? Because remember, people used to just stand there and just spam the full heavy and wait for you to walk in. That's the same thing with the axe. But there's no. I mean, there can be counterplay because it has shorter range, but you'll never be able to break their hyper armor.
Somebody suggests.
Almost
he's
never.
putting a suggestion. He says, "What about
What's
increasing?" This is Charlie Mulgrew. Sorry, I probably butchered that name. What about increasing player HP so fights last longer? If anyone has played For Honor, the fights are much longer and more competitive. I think that would not really be the best idea, but it could help with one shot from thralls. Or one shot from the horses.
Even if
they add that, it's not going to change the fact that people still going to use exploits to kill you quicker, and it's still not going to change
it's not really a health thing, to be honest, because we have.
It's the multiplier.
On the setup that I have,
the same damage no matter
the setup
what
that I have now, I have like I'm only like 8% less damage mitigation than heavy armor. I'm not far away from it. I mean, I could have like tier 5 vit and like 73% armor mitigation or armor, and I'd still get like 1 to 2 shot very easily by a really solid Delencia or Lian. It wouldn't take much. They just hit very, very hard. They'd have to nerf thralls.
They do that. That's hard. The axes, back to the axes at hand. Giving axes one of the most powerful weapons in the game at this moment. Giving them the ability to have a throwable with them is kind of broken.
Yeah.
That and letting it have a lock on, that's even more broken. Because all you gotta do is do a Yog jump, throw, jump, throw, jump, throw, jump, throw, and there's nothing you can do.
And it staggers.
Because if you get hit by the throwing axe, you're staggered, and then they get the jump off, you get hit with a high-powered machine.
Yeah. It's like if somebody gets on top of you and you're not playing that particular playstyle, what's up?
He says you can break hyper armor from an axe after after second attack with a spear. I noticed. It's kind of difficult, especially if they're spamming R2. You really can't. I've having videos
You
where
really
people's
can't,
trying to hit me
because
while I'm
just
doing it.
can't
I'll
break
just
the
full
hyper
combo
armor.
and go through it, and you can see it. There's people to fight me. I use the axe. I'll let them spear me just to do that lunge into me, and I'll just do a spin and I'll hit them with bleed and knock them over.
I know what he's talking about, though.
I do too.
What
About
happens
the
is
R1
there's a like latency. I know. There's like latency when that happens, when it does break their hyper armor. So when it lags for that split second, when they're right in between swings, that's the only time it's gonna stagger them. It's like if you, it's really just like a dice game or rock paper scissors. And that, yeah, I'm really saying rock paper scissors. But yeah, like it's if you click the light attack button before his next initial swing, you have a higher chance of staggering him.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a possibility that that won't even happen to begin with.
And then you get hit with,
almost a 2 to 3 shot
weapon, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then while we're on this fact, let's talk about some things with Yogg. Yogg has been the best axe in the game, aside from the Lying Bastard before it got
like
nerfed.
What, 2 or 3 metas now?
Yeah,
2 or 3 metas
axe
now?
has been the meta since it had throwing axes with it. Just nobody used it until it was known amongst the community.
I'm partially
to be honest,
I'm partially to blame.
Shh, don't even.
It's halfway my fault. It's my fault.
Listen, Yogg's touch was broken for so long. It needs to have its penetration dumbed down, or its damage dumbed down, because it's doing too much damage.
It has the master kit on it, in my opinion, it should be reduced to 30 when it has the master kit on it.
Oh my god, dude, it shreds. You could be in heavy, right? You'd think people in light armor would be most vulnerable to it. You're wrong, dude. Heavy armor, dude. You go heavy armor, I can kill you quicker in heavy armor with Yogg's touch than you can kill me with light. Because you can't get away. Yeah, you're done. If you watch it, I'll be fighting groups of people, and I'll pull out Yogg over my spear just for the plain fact that I could kill everybody with a Yogg as quickly as possible. I don't need to use skill. Just jump, leap, jump, and you can do that too. The little kick, infinite leap thing, that needs patched, along with a bunch of other things with the one-handed weapons where they can jump and then press L2 or RT or LT, sorry, whatever it is on Xbox. You just jump and then time it right, and you're able to infinite leap. That shouldn't be a thing. That needs looked at and patched. As much as I like to do it, it's still cheesy. Like you use little to no stamina. Like I think we timed it one time, didn't we?
You'd be wrong not to use it, honestly.
Right. Didn't we time it, or didn't we count how many times it took for me to jump with that? Wasn't it over 20 times? Oh, it was like well 35. Over. We stopped counting.
Stamina consumption is the other thing I wanted to talk about.
Yes.
Like it is effortless to do any of those actions. Like there's no drawback. Whereas like if you heavy attack with a spear, you only get 8 strikes. But if you use the first heavy attack for an axe, you can do it 35 times. How is that balanced?
And you're doing a leap. I'm pretty sure it takes less stamina for me to thrust something forward.
Don't even get me started on daggers. Don't even get me started on daggers. You can backflip forever.
Yeah. The dagger's backflip should be the same amount of stamina consumption as your dodge. And that's just my opinion. Because you get a longer dodge. Like you're quicker and you get behind. You're able to dodge further than the light can. It just needs more stamina consumption.
Why does my controller
keep broken at the moment. It's not balanced. Alright, dude says Yogg's touch, black ice one-handed sword and katana is now meta, especially combined with throwing stuff items, because weapons are not special now, because you need to run the meta. Devs need to roll up a weapon balance patch. That's what we're on about right now, is a weapons balance patch.
That's what we're talking about. But since we're talking about axes, let's jump into swords now as well. Swords are, yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Just the damage a little bit from the black ice broadsword needs a little tweak to it, but I still think, honestly, in my opinion,
here's my whole thing.
The long sword is kind of balanced, but the short sword needs buffed. It needs something.
We can talk about the short sword in a second, but here's my thing on the black ice broadsword. If they're going to nerf the Yogg's touch, you have to do the same thing to the black ice broadsword. You have to. I'm not against it. I love swords. I love swords, but they have to be balanced. They have to be. I'm not gonna play this one-sided either. Like balance the actual damage, balance the hyper armor, and balance the phantom range, if that's at all possible.
The phantom range with the thag. Dude says, what
Is it
about the
good?
Thag Hammer Insane Phantom Range? Yeah, I know, I've seen it firsthand.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really good when they roll
It's because
towards
of
you.
those prongs that it has. It's
Yeah.
because of the prongs it has.
Honestly, oh, here's a good thing. Just an FYI for everybody wanting to know anything. That's funny. Did you guys know that you can run 5 strength and get some accuracy and you'll do more damage with Thag's Hammer? Because the accuracy, for some reason, scales up
Oh
with
yeah,
Thag's
he
Hammer.
showed me that. Yeah, he showed me
Yeah.
that. Dag's hammer actually scales with accuracy for some reason. Don't know why. There's a lot of weird little tidbits like that.
No problem, Mulgrew. Hopefully we see you later. We should be broadcasting for a good time. We have a lot to cover, so you might be back
we got a lot to
join in
cover.
on it.
Trust me on that.
Alright,
So back to one-handed swords. I guess one-handed swords and short swords, right? Let's go into that. So really, I've used one-handed swords extensively since the beginning of the game. Like, let's see. Okay, yeah, Jeffrey, I feel you there, but like Rupert said earlier, I'm sure you just jumped in. Like, I did bring up the Palisades, which is one of the consistent ways to stop horses. But if it's like in a place like you can't build, like the unnamed city.
What are you gonna do? How are you gonna raid someone if all they do is run around with horses? They have land claim. What are you gonna do in the unnamed city you can't build? What are you gonna do in the dungeons where you can't build? What are you gonna? You could throw it down, but then what are you gonna do when they just avoid it? Because you could drift so well with the scout armor that you could literally just turn immediately after it. And what is Palisades? It would make sense if like they hit it and they came off the horse, but they don't.
Which
like,
honestly, they really should make a
everything,
like
any kind of mechanic. I think if you hit the rider on the horse with any kind of weapon, come off the horse.
Yeah.
But that's past. We've talked about it. Let's continue.
We can touch
on
it again afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely we will.
But yeah,
we'll have a recap.
But yeah, with long swords, I feel like if they're gonna make any adjustments to axes, they should look at both of their hyper armor. They should look at how their initial damage is. And honestly, that's really the biggest thing: the hyper armor and the damage for both of them, because they're both very powerful weapons. They just don't need to be as powerful.
And then there's weapons like the katana, the scythe, the thag. They just need completely reworked. They need completely reworked. Everything from the animation down need reworked. You can't really do nothing. The katana's a one-trick pony. You're just gonna proc and try to get the one shot, and if you don't, you die.
That's the sad thing about it.
Yeah, you can't hit them with R1s. They do no damage, and even if you do hit them with R1s, you're probably gonna miss 80% of the time because they're a downswing. That's why they removed it from the two-hander. Why would you have the downswing for a katana, but the two-hander? That was one of the reasons why the two-hander had to be rebalanced, was because the downswing was so hard to hit.
You have to be like, since I've used katanas, you have to be like literally running at them, or you have to like bait them into coming closer to you. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And the hyper armor with the heavy attack with the katana needs to be checked out, so you should not be able to get hit with all sorts of throwables and hit and everything. And
I feel like they should just redo. I feel like they should just
need to redo the throwing. They need to redo all of it. Yeah.
All of the katana. All the katana needs to be redone. It's an interesting thing on paper. It's interesting on paper, but like for functionality, even for PvE, it's not really all that great. It really isn't. So that's why I've always said it needs to be redone. I mean, like, there's a 2-second delay when you draw the weapon. You can't even swing it until like after.
Well, if they buffed the katana, it'd be kind of broken. Oaks. I'm just saying it needs a whole rework. Not just we're not talking about buffing or nerfing. We're just talking like the animation needs a whole rework.
It just needs a rework. Like that's like one of the main things. Short sword now is very, very interesting because I want to say it's balanced, but really it needs a few buffs. Its moveset is interesting. Its moveset is interesting.
Really good. It could be really, really good at countering spears.
A little bit of hyper armor. It needs a little bit of hyper armor because it doesn't have any at all.
Like the jab that it does, the real long jab, that's really good because it's almost instantaneous. You could take on a spear with that, dude.
And it needs a specific special effect.
Like if you give it hyper armor and its dash, it's almost a spear killer, dude. That should be a thing. Something that counters the spear to where you have to use something else other than the spear to. It should be rock paper scissors type thing. You know what I mean? I remember back in the day when I used to promote something like that.
Squiddy.
So, what's next?
Yeah, the short sword.
Or
Oh, you finished your short sword? That was fast.
No, I was saying that it just needs hyper armor, and it needs to be maybe a damage rework, and just like
it needs a special effect. Yeah, it needs a damage rework. Honestly, they should be equal to long swords.
They should be equal to long swords. And I like the way how it lunges. Like that's a spear killer.
Just because they're short swords doesn't mean. Just because they're short swords doesn't mean they should have less damage. They should have damage of long swords. They really should. I think the only thing they're afraid of is because they're fast.
They're gonna outperform the long sword.
Yeah, they can potentially do that. They can potentially outperform the longsword. That's why their damage isn't as high, because of the speed. Which is, I've used short swords before. If you can get on top of somebody, they can't get away from you. They really can't get away from you. It won't stagger them, but they can't get away from you.
Yeah, it should be.
What's next? So, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm waiting.
I was just thinking of the next weapon. Warhammers.
Warhammers
and maces?
They need a little speed up, I ain't gonna lie, dude. Warhammers aren't really useful right now. Like, not as fast as they was when we had the fast.
Warhammers can be countered so easily.
Yeah,
Warhammers can be countered so easily now.
Like, they shouldn't be as fast as they was in the meta when hammers were the meta, God forbid, but they should at least have, like, whoosh, whoosh, instead of, like, the
when hammers were meta, I played against them with spears, like, there was nothing you could do. If you had a spear against a hammer, there's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do. Granted, I can't say that. I can't say that. You were so heavily reliant on your movement with a spear versus a warhammer, but like the damage was just incomparable.
It was.
It was just incomparable.
Just like how it is now. Like if you think about the weapon balancing, the most balanced weapon we have is the spear, because it's been worked so many times. Why have we not thought about that with every weapon?
Spear's been thrown through the meat grinder so many times. That's gonna be a long discussion. That's gonna be long. Let's work our way to spear. Let's work our way to spear. But yeah, like Warhammers, Warhammers were so strong back during that time, especially the Worldbreaker, man. I know that was your favorite weapon.
Oh my god, it was terrible, dude. It was awful. It'd be clink, 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 dead. It was always that turn. It was always that turn, that or Crom's Hammer, dude. I loved Crom's Hammer too, but oh my god.
Mine was the Maelstrom.
Mine was
the Maelstrom. I love
it was an okay time.
Truly loved the Rhinoson. Truly love the Rhinoson.
It was alright. The Rhinoson was good. It's basically the same thing as a Mordland Spear. You just get corruption, I believe, right?
Yeah.
It did the same thing a Mordland would do nowadays.
And plus I want to say the Hammer of the Whale is kind of interesting too. But yeah, for Warhammers, man, they do need to speed up the animation a bit. I feel like they did take away too much because the lack of speed actually destroyed some of its hyper armor. It shouldn't have nearly as much as it did. It should not have nearly as much as it did. But it's too easy to be countered. I feel like the Warhammer is too easy to be countered now because of its slow, and they took away a lot of hyper armor. Granted, they should not add too much back. Honestly, I felt like the Warhammer moveset is probably one of the best movesets in game. What's up?
Oh no, he was asking if one of those counter horses. I said no. We've tried that. That was the first idea.
No, we've tried. That was actually was brought up to me by I want to say Rage, Inverted Rage brought it up to me that you can do something to them now with blended arrows, just a little bit. I don't remember.
We've tested.
Recently?
Yes.
I mean, we've tested, yeah, but recently.
I've tested afterwards as well. Trust me, blended arrows do nothing.
Okay. But yeah, I feel like the Warhammer moveset has been very consistent. It's probably one of the best movesets in the game, to be honest. It doesn't need to be changed. Like, it's just really the speed and increase the hyper armor ever so subtly, so like somebody just can't space you out, hit you with a spear one time, and knock you back each time. Because that's really what I do when I see a Warhammer.
Knocked out immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed the Warhammer.
And let's jump into Go ahead. I ain't gonna stop you.
Honestly, I miss it just for the plain fact that it added a counter play to the spear.
It added more variety, honestly.
With the spear to stop it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it added a lot more variety. Maces. Thoughts and feelings, hopes and
Maces need fixed. They need a whole new rework. Their R2 is weak.
I can agree to that because like their moveset is. They need a better
animation.
Yeah. Maces aren't bad. Maces are actually broken for a little while.
They were.
If you can actually get on top of somebody.
Maces and throwing axes.
They were broken for a little while. Just because, like, if you actually got on top of somebody, you did one combo, that was it.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that they don't have good range. You literally have to be right on top of somebody.
I used to use AJ's bane and throwing axes too, Jack. But it's not the same anymore. But if they had an animation rework where instead of it goes that, because they keep adding animations to weapons, and this is my opinion, where it's up and down. You don't want animations going from sky to earth. You want it going from west to east. You want it going left to right. You want it like that.
Another thing,
I miss the Spears R1.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. That's a whole nother.
Yeah,
I know. That's like a 20-minute talk. It's like a 20-minute talk. Dude.
I know.
We'll talk about that last. We'll talk about that. Yeah, like with maces, like realistically, maces aren't far off from the moveset of swords. Like you can use parries, you can use vertical and horizontal swings, like just slashes with maces. Maces are like very versatile weapons, and I feel like they just haven't. They really need a movement rework. They really need a moveset rework because they just don't have it. They need more than that. Honestly, in my most honest of opinions, the moveset has to be changed. The hyper armor on maces is kind of really. I feel like it's up there with swords and axes. It's up there with swords and axes. It's up there. It's just that, but that's only because like its moveset isn't very good. Because you have to be like right on top of somebody to actually use it. So that's why why I feel the hyper armor is so high on it. The damage is great. Damage is great though.
Yeah. Just the animations, dude. Some of the animations for some of the things don't work. Like that's why the axe is so powerful. It hits hard, but when you run it, it's like not up to down, but it's like a top right to bottom left type move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you gonna upload this podcast? I want to see it later because you guys have good points. Yeah, of course, yeah. All my this cast will be uploaded. Also, just the live stream right now is just for questions that you guys might have that we can get answered immediately.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And enjoy live. Get to make fun of me and Boston.
We should. Yeah. Pretty much.
And our PvE home. Speaking of which, I need a refill on my tea.
Based.
I need my tea.
Oh my god. Okay, prima donna.
It is I, Belvedere.
There you go. You're happy now? Okay, cool.
I don't know, man. It looks too green. Redo it.
Shut up.
Alright, next point.
Next weapon should be the Javelin.
Oh, dude, the Javelin has so much promise, but...
They're broken, man. They're absolutely broken.
What do you mean they're broken? Which ones? Are you talking about the blunted, or are you talking about the regular?
Oh, javelins in general. Like, Dragonbone javelins, like, throwing weapons in general are kind of broken.
They've been broken. The accuracy needs to be just reworked, or removed, or throwing...
Accuracy, honestly, needs to be reworked. Because Because really, at its core, Conan is a melee game. At its core, Conan is a melee game.
We need a legendary short sword. We need legendary boots and pants for each weight... We'll get into it in a minute.
Hold on. Let's not get. That can be another video. Hold on. Let's get on the state of PvP.
Right.
So like with throwing weapons where they are, I feel like javelins. I don't want javelins' damage to be altered, but their hyper armor is too high for what they are.
You should not be able to just R1 spam.
Their hyper armor is way too high for what it is.
Yeah.
Way too high.
I think any throwable
and then javelins. Javelins paired with throwing axes is just cheese. Absolute cheese.
Listen. Here's my opinion. Now, tell me what you think about this. I think this is a fix towards it, right? I think any throwable weapon, 1, you shouldn't have hyper armor when you're in a throwable. 2, it should do damage, but it should not stagger you. I feel like that would be a good fix, because it stops people from throwing axe spamming, because it hits you, you're staggered, and you're crippled.
The thing was because of the stagger. Remember the days when we had to like run after people when they would run from unnamed city to
right. But you still get crippled and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Stagger.
No, they don't have to stagger. They can just cripple. You're still gonna be crippled. You're not going anywhere. And there's horses, dude. Well, I mean, what else could you really ask for?
I'm not.
Blunted javelins and throwing axes.
It's really
OP.
the damage, in my opinion.
Of course, they're OP. They need to be. I don't even like.
Yeah.
I think blunted weapons in general need a new rework because too much stamina is lost when you get hit with that. To be honest.
Yeah.
There's just too much. You literally take like a quarter of somebody's stamina.
They'd have to do something to the stamina damage.
Like, what do you do when you're running away from someone with blunted javelins and throwing axes and they just hit you with a javelin?
Well,
you're out of the reach, throwing axe, crippled,
they're
javelin.
Within 5 meters.
You just hit them.
They're within 5 meters of you. You can't run. You really can't run away from them. You can't put that much separation from them. Because, like, javelins, when they throw it, they have that time delay where there's a gap there, but it's like
they got hyper armor.
Have hyper armor through that. They have hyper armor, so you can't stop them. They can keep going. I know because I've seen it. You can't really stop them unless you get a lucky hit in between one of their swings.
Javelins hit you too, even if your shield is up. Yeah, so does bows. Bows can glitch through your shield too.
Does it really?
Yeah. They can if they get close enough. They can do that.
Yeah. I got you.
That needs their collision needs work done when you have ranged weapons as well. Their collision, you should not be able to push your bow through someone's shield and hit them. You should not be able to put your javelin through someone's shield and hit them.
Realistically, you shouldn't be moving while you
That's
have a bow out,
honestly. That's facts.
That's how they had it in the beginning.
I love the bow.
I remember when, yeah.
But the bow, when I shoot it, should not be moving. I should not have hyper armor, and you shouldn't like how the axes are. The throwing axes are stationary. They need to slow down the animation of throwing axes too, but that's another topic.
That too. They need to slow it down by like a second. It needs to be somewhat similar to the javelin, but it should not have it shouldn't be overly reliant to the actual animation. I mean, like the throwing axe combo with the axe or the sword is a great combo. It's a great combo, right. But for the state of where PvP is now going forward, it cannot be like that. Gameplay is too slow to actually have that. You can argue against that, but that's the truth.
Like I remember back in the day,
if it was the old meta, you could do that.
30 minutes easily.
Okay, buddy, let's not.
No, I'm just saying. No. I'm just saying like that's just how it is because it was so quick. You was able to be fast with your hits. You was able to be fast in and out. You can't do that now.
Pretty much.
It's almost impossible to do that because even if they
all
start pulling out these broken stuff. Yeah, even if they are using it, you're screwed. They'll just run you over the horse, hit you with some cripple, you're done. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Javelins, you're done. What do you do? There's no counterplay.
Nothing. I mean, the only thing you'd be able to do, if it's open field and that's it, you ain't got a choice but to stand there and fight, and you're probably gonna just die.
Yeah.
Because that horse. Oh my god. Lothar greatsword with the party shield. He's funny, Squiddy. He said, "What about a Lothar greatsword with a party shield?" He's making Dark Souls jokes. Like, yeah, man, that's a GG. That's a GG pretty much.
Imagine that with a bow build too. That's just dude. That's not balanced. Just accuracy itself needs to be reworked. Animations for all throwing weapons and lock-on need reworked. Lock-on doesn't even need to exist with ranged weapons. Like it'd be all right if I couldn't get up in your face and I actually had to aim. I should not be able to get up in your face with ranged weapon and hit you with the best accuracy in the world. There's no way.
You're gonna make some people mad saying that. You're gonna make some people mad saying that, man.
What do you mean?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're gonna make somebody mad saying that. No
saying
lock
what?
On.
No lock-on? There shouldn't be any lock-on with ranged weapons.
Nothing. You're gonna get me in trouble. Nothing.
No, I'm just saying like there shouldn't be lock-on with ranged weapons. Period.
Yeah, I agree.
It takes no skill.
I agree. Totally agree.
Maybe not no skill, but it doesn't take a lot of skill to run up and somebody and spam it.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen how my videos go when I get somebody low. I just run up in their face with a fire spark. Bloop, 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 bloop. Like, there's no skill in that, really. And that sucks for me to say it, but it's true. That's why... That's so bad.
Yeah.
But go on.
So yeah, javelins need to have their hyper armor reduced, and I think that would help fix that.
Yeah.
Throwing axes need their damage reduced, and they need to slow down animation. Did we touch on every weapon? Did we touch on every weapon? Did we leave anything out?
No, we didn't talk about spear. We didn't talk about the...
I want to save spear for last because that's a long.
All right. Let's think for a minute. What other weapons do we have in here? Daggers. We have those.
Daggers. That's what it was. Yes, daggers. The backflip is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. You have heavy armor. You're backflipping, and you're wasting less stamina than me dodging with light.
Like, dude, you can literally get past the whole dodge mechanic. You know, like 4 for heavy, 5 for medium, 6 for light. That don't mean jack shit if you have daggers. You can flip for God knows how long. You can flip about 14 times with just tier 2 grit. 14 times with tier 2 grit? Are you serious? It's like, it's effortless, dude. It's effortless.
That, and if you stop
like a lot of the stamina consumption for most weapons really need to be looked at.
I think that the dodge, I don't care if it stays, right? The dodge can be quick and it can be as far as it is. But it needs to at least be the same as your weight class, like how we have the 4, 5, 6. If you have heavy armor, you should get 4 backflips. I can agree to that, yeah, I agree to that. You get farther backflips and faster ones, yeah, that's fine. You know what, that's the special move. Yeah. That's the special move for your weapon. But you should not be getting 14 and me get 6 when you're in heavy armor and I'm in light. There is no way.
Exactly. Exactly. Honestly, in terms of damage, I think daggers are pretty balanced too.
Daggers
but I remember
when they
had as much. The hyper armor they had, man, was ridiculous.
Yeah,
you could tank axe swings. Oh, we didn't talk about greatswords. That's what we didn't talk about.
Yeah,
we'll stick with daggers and
go
to greatswords.
Greatswords are pretty alright. They may need a little quick with
their
they're
not
animations,
bad.
like speed
they're
up
slow.
The animation
they're slow as hell now. I miss the old animation. Yeah.
Like
I feel like greatswords are too fucking slow now.
I don't think there's anything really needed about that.
I mean, the down chop. The down chop
itself
you need
is a different mechanic entirely than the greatsword's heavy and light.
Yeah.
Like those should be sped up, but the down
they do need to speed it up. What? You don't even use greatswords anymore. I use them. They need to be sped up just a little bit. They're too slow still. They need to be faster.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be
just
more
a
for
little
like
bit
a
faster.
surprise. It's supposed to be more of a surprise element with that move. They come rolling in and you just switch when you hot swap, and then you come down and it's a surprise mechanic.
Well, not even just that. I mean, you can use it. You can weave it in all your attacks if you know how to animation cancel. But like, it's like if you don't, the greatsword is all about animation canceling now. And then I feel like they do need to change the.
Friend, they said. Also, why is the wine cellar the only dungeon with exit immunity?
This is the wrong podcast for that. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. You're gonna have to ask Funcom. I can't even answer that, man. I really can't. I don't know. There should be exit immunity for everything. For everything. Yeah, if there's gonna be a loading screen for it, you need an exit immunity. The only thing I think that's gonna fuck that up is bugs.
Yeah, bugs or people exploiting.
I kind of put myself in. Yeah.
They can just make it so when you're in a loading screen, your character's not spawned in the world. That should just be how it is.
Hey, wow, we got an ESO god in here. How you doing, man? We're just talking about some balancing for another game. All that are in chat, this is Vong the creator. He's an ESO god. He plays pretty much everything. He's probably one of the best ESO players in the game. So yeah, I feel like there should be exit immunity.
Where's my thing for Conan? No, I'm kidding.
Everybody knows who the fuck you are. Everyone knows who you are. But yeah, man, shut up. You don't ask. But yeah, there should be exit immunity for everything. But the only thing I can think of, somebody will use an exploit to try and make that so they're invulnerable completely.
Exactly, some visibility until you're in. They'll try to use the visibility.
I'm good, man. I hope you've been doing alright too. But yeah, just that. The only thing I can think about is it becoming an exploit if there's any bugs. But there's also something else that we'd like to talk about in terms of that. But let's get back onto the weapons. We talked about daggers now. Now let's get into spear, the nitty gritty. Like spear, totally. I know like a whole bunch of old heads that have been playing the game since the beginning, talking about spears being like the most balanced. This seems like a big whoop, but like realistically it is. Spear has honestly been the most adjusted weapon in the entire game. Like coming from like where it was and where it is now, it's the most balanced weapon compared to anything else. It has just enough hyper armor. Oh boy. What was that? Who was that?
What?
Somebody said something about Farming Simulator.
Oh, we don't need to talk about that right now.
Oh man, Seeks. But yeah, like Spear is like definitely the most balanced. It's been the most adjusted compared to any other weapon in the game. I mean, its first 2 heavy attacks have been reduced by 20%. You're good, man. You're good. But yeah, its first 2 heavy attacks are reduced. Its damage is reduced by like 20%. Some of the best spears in the game have been nerfed. What else? The light attacks have been changed. The hyper armor's been reduced. I mean, it's really been the most fine-tooled weapon in the game, and it still competes against almost any weapon still, except throwing axes. That's probably the only thing that it can't compete against. What's your opinion on the Reaper?
I think Spear is the best weapon in the game. I just like it. I wouldn't say. I think it's just the best weapon in the game because
I thought about that.
Just for the plain fact that like I love the spear. Like it's balanced and it's not OP. It's not too OP, but it's just right. And it works for what it works with. You're trying to hit somebody from farther away and trying to be evasive. That's what it's meant for.
It's about a speed game. You can be aggressive with spear even now.
Oh,
you can be just as aggressive. Yeah, you can be just as aggressive as you've always been. But the good thing about it is, I'm glad that they took all the hyper armor away. I didn't like it at first, but like, it offers more of a like realistic playstyle with the game. Yeah, because like, I remember back in the day, a lot of people used to just stand there and do the full heavy attack combo and just expect you to walk into them, and that was brainless game. That was brainless. That was a brainless playstyle. I even said that back then, and like, now it's even better than what it was. Honestly, it is probably the most competitive weapon in the game.
Alright. I agree.
Okay. What's next?
The R1 for the spear.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I could talk about that, but like,
I think honestly,
kind of touched on that.
It's fine the way it is now. Because back when we had the fast roll, it was pointless. It was useless. It didn't do anything. But now that the actual combat's been slowed down, it has its place. You know what I mean?
I feel like the old R1 would decimate everything now.
Oh yeah, because just the way that it whips to the side, everybody that has weak strafe game would be in for a terrorizing fight.
Yeah, because it would like reach with AOE. No counter.
Oh my god.
No counter. Okay, what's next?
2.0.
No, I don't think the damage would even be that high. Was that all the weapons? I think so.
I think so. I mean, we had the bow, but we already discussed our thoughts on that and accuracy and its general. Shields. I mean, shields. Better collision.
Yeah,
That's about it. I shouldn't be able to push up on you and not like I should be able to kick your shield, but I shouldn't be able to put my spear or my bow through your shield and hit you.
You shouldn't? Is that what you said?
I should not be able to put my spear and like glitch it through your shield and hit you along with the
bow. That's true.
I should have to kick your shield to make you lose the shield to fight me.
You know, we played with the idea of having a blocking system for all weapons, or having a parry system for all weapons.
We have talked about it, but I just don't think that would work in this kind of meta right now.
Yeah,
Conan doesn't feel like that kind of game.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's kind of a mix of a lot of different elements. I don't think that would work out either, but it's not a bad idea to have. I feel the dynamics would have to change collectively.
Just trying to move my camera so I can actually get the spear and all that in the picture.
And fancy.
Fancy schmancy. Truly said, no, the old R1 needs to be brought back 100%. Well, truly, I mean, it would be cool to have it back, but this new R1 has its place when you actually look at it, and I like this new R1 that they have.
I don't blame you, Al.
I would like to have the other one back, but with the way of how the movement works, it just doesn't, like with the spear, it just doesn't work with how the movement is.
You're talking about the light attacks.
Yeah, the old where it swiped left to right.
But hey, here's what Alanator said. Honestly, spear is now in a bad state in PvP. Run the meta, Yogg throwing axe, ice sword, one-handed katana, and the spear player had less chance to win. I need to run the meta too to win a match. I mean, like, truthfully, I don't blame you, man. Like, legitimately, if you're gonna be in that situation against like people that are on equal stature in terms of like skill for PvP, you have to run something similar. And trust me, I've said that. Like, you're not gonna do very well if you use a spear against throwing axes or an axe, because I mean, you're gonna be in a bad state. But
that makes it counterable. I mean, but it also, they are kind of OP of a counter. Like, they counter too much. The new R1 is useful, to be honest. So much hyper armor. Only thing that we could use to kill thralls legit. That's what I'm trying to say too. Is like, yeah, it stops you from getting so close. So the hammers have a place in the game again. They need to be countered shields with R1 attack. That, he's right. I do agree that the R1, at least the first R1 with the hammer, needs to break the shield.
I don't know why they did that.
I don't either. I think that was a brilliant counterplay system. I don't know why they removed it. And like, you know, because like I used to catch people with that. You know, I have a bow. I used to run that stuff, and they'd run a shield, and I'd come up and I'd be like, "Well, hello, I have a hammer."
Because kicking can be too much of a risk where you could
lag.
have a warhammer.
Yeah, not just that, you can get stuck in your roll, and we could talk about that too.
Yeah.
For some reason, when you hit or fight shields with spears or anything that has any kind of lunge with it, you get roll glitched. You could take the
notice, you know, ever since the new roll came out, I roll glitch more often.
I do too. It's really frustrating. It could be the de novo they have.
Not to throw shade, they said the new roll was supposed to fix that, when in reality it didn't.
It made it worse.
It only made it worse.
But look, the thing is the fact of the matter is that if you have a shield and you have anything that does a long attack, like the spear, the broadsword, the short sword, even Jabal claws, you hit the shield, your character model glitches into the ground for some reason, and he'll get stuck. You'll be roll glitched, and it needs to be fixed, or there needs to be some balance into that. There also needs to be balancing to hitting someone with a shield. I think the shield itself, how when you block you don't gain stamina, I think honestly it shouldn't matter if you gain stamina or not. It should take away stamina when you're being hit on your shield.
Honestly, yeah, it should.
Because that would stop people from holding it.
Turtling.
Yeah, it'll stop people from turtling.
Just
it'll also make, like, not a lot of stamina loss, but like just enough to, like, you know, that if you leave them alone, they're gonna get their stamina back and they're gonna be ready to fight again.
Yeah.
But if you keep aggressing and somebody's not stopping you from hitting their shield, like in real life, if I'm kicking and punching your shield, you're gonna get tired, dog. I'm sorry, but you're not gonna lose stam. You can hold that shield up for a minute. You know what I mean? Even if they added a little bit of lost stamina with it. But other than that, do we have anything else to cover on that?
God's returning.
God's returning? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Gods are returning, man.
I don't.
Well, here's I was talking to Brandon Oaks about this. Oaks and Brains,
Jack.
if you're in the chat.
Yeah, Oaks is here. And Brain is.
We were talking about this. Gods, the amount of art priests you can get so quickly is ridiculous. That needs to be reduced. It's far too easy to get.
Not just that, and the duping problems with the way the altar works right now. Is just,
man,
you can dupe bubbles for days. What stops me from duping gods for days? You know what I mean?
Exactly. It wouldn't take any effort. You're gonna cause problems, and like the other thing is, alphas are gonna become tyrants again, like literal tyrants.
Just running around with 5 gods a day and just wiping the server.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's literally what will happen. Anyone who's been on the server for X amount of time, the longest compared to anyone who else comes on, they're gonna become tyrants. They won't have to be good at PvP at all. They'll just walk up to your base one day, put down a fob. Yep. Yeah, that's true. You can't summon the god in the second bubble. You need to summon the god outside the bubble range. Yeah, that's true.
I think any physical object should go through the bubble, period. Whether it be arrow or bolter. The god bubble itself should just stop gods. That's it. That's just my opinion, though.
I feel like that would be too hard of a counter for Apex bases. Because really, the Treb will do a lot of damage, but like the arrows will, like a lot of bases will be able to be raided with arrows. It'd be very easy to raid Apex bases that way.
I know, I'm just
without a god bubble.
I think like regular arrows. I'm talking about regular arrows and shit like fire spark. I'm not talking about explosive and gas. Explosive shouldn't, but I think gas should still. I don't know. It's a balancing thing. It's just my opinion.
I feel like that'd be too hard to code. I feel like that'd be too hard to code, honestly. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you could farm a god in an hour or less.
But it would be very hard to code. Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be hard to code.
But yeah, like arc priests need to be reduced. I'm pretty sure it'll be hard to code one specific arrow over the other. I mean, it's dependent on the data entry. I don't know. I'm not a programmer.
Exactly.
But like, yeah, I feel like the number of arc priests need to be reduced hard, dude. Because you can go in a set city and get 5 arc priests in less than an hour. It wouldn't even be an effort. You can go outside of the den and get like Jumble Art Priest in like 30 minutes. It wouldn't take any time at all. I know because when they first came out, that's all you would see if you lived at the den. If you lived at the den, you had free access to the Jabal Arc Priest with like no effort. It was just that easy. Honestly. And the Black Galleon is also another really great spot. You can get Mitra very easily too, just because like the Mitra Arc Priest spawns all the time south in near the summoning place, like at Mitra's Serenity and Sinner's Refuge. Like a lot of those places, it is very easy to get Arc Priests. I just feel it should be toned down quite a bit. Shouldn't be as high. It should be a necessity to have gods, not like a normal thing.
Jay says, how about it take a few gods to break tier 3? I don't know about that. I feel like gods should be very powerful, but they should be harder to get. They should be
very powerful. Yeah, they should be something that's a rarity rather than a necessity. That's what I wanted to say. A rarity than a necessity.
A rarity and powerful, but not broken. Yeah. It's a very touchy matter on how you play with that, especially in a PvP server. Because a lot of people take years, and I do mean years, to build what they have just for a god to come in and one-shot it. You know what I mean? But it also comes in the fact that they should have been farming Zeal too. So like, it's touchy. It's very touchy. Because people also have lives outside the game as well.
And I feel like before they should do anything about the gods, they should fix the altar glitching.
Yes,
the altar glitches should be fixed
please.
first.
The duplication.
Oh, Reaper, actually missed something.
What?
We missed something, Reaper. The cleansing.
The cleansing? What do you mean?
Oh, yeah, Justice and the Setons.
Oh my god! Stop it!
I forgot about that. That's what we forgot.
Stop it! Stop making people who get buffs look stupid because they take the time to get buffs by one little weapon that you can farm any point in the game.
I don't hate the antidote function that those weapons have.
I don't either. I think they should keep the antidote function.
But they should not be debuffing. They should stop debuffing. They can't debuff anymore, man.
Debuffing it's really it kills players.
That's gotta go.
It makes no counterplay really, because you just get hit once with the lag and everything. You're gone. All your buffs that you work for like an hour to get, maybe, with all the shit that you need to make it, gone, pointless. And that's supposed to be a skill gap right there. You know, you don't know about the buffs, then you ain't playing Conan hard enough. I'm sorry. That's just truth.
I feel like it's just been like something that's been used against just for like larger clans fighting
Even
larger
so,
clans.
just get rid of the
that debuff has
got
to stop. That's got to go.
I don't know who added that. I'm not. You know what? I'm not even gonna go into it. I don't know who added it. Please stop it. This
is a wholesome Minecraft channel, so we gotta keep it civil. But yeah, that's just that. We just missed that. Yeah, they'll remove the buffs, except the Freedom Elixir buff and the War Paint. Let's see. Talk about gods.
Like, they should be rewarding players for farming the war buffs and the buffs, not punish them for taking their time to get that and then get hit one time.
Yeah, pretty much.
No problems, Spark.
Said Spark? What you mean Fire Spark? What are you talking about? We'll get him in here next time.
Right,
we'll get him in here next time.
We'll get him.
Try. No promises. No refunds. No refunds. But yeah, what's next? I got a whole list of shit here. I just want to make sure we choose the right things first and save the other stuff for last.
Alright.
Wait, did we talk about thralls attacking us at our raid time? We did.
Yes, we did. That definitely needs to be fixed, but go on.
Well, let's see. What else?
Got my gob stoppers right here.
We have big topics here. I'm just really trying to get out
we have a lot of
the other stuff.
We're just trying to pick and choose real quick.
We're just I'm trying to save the most delicate ones for last. I just learned how to do that, so I don't know what to say.
What?
What about stacked ceilings and fences? It's cool, but it causes a lot of
Here's the thing: they're removing.
Yeah, it's true.
So
especially
about 50 to 60% of the game is going to be sped up, the performance-wise, once this is removed. So I'd wait till after that's removed to see if that really makes a difference.
Okay.
The lag itself is a little horrendous right now in the state of the game, but with that removed, it might fix a lot of the lag problems that we have.
Yeah. I'm gonna just. Oh, what's up?
I don't know what he exactly said, but truly said only the salary increase quantity needs to be set and.
Oh my God! You come back home and we'll talk about this. You come back home and we'll talk about your salary. You get back on here, we'll talk about your salary. You ain't on here now, so you ain't...
Alright, go on. Next one. Come on.
But yeah, no. Alanator was talking about ceiling stacking and the lag, or did you cover that just now?
I just kind of covered it. I mean, it's a mechanic in the game we can't stop. We need to... no, I'll also say we need to stop the people overclaiming, but that's an exploit. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, I was saving that for last. Honestly. I'm trying to save all the bad stuff for last, man. I really am. I'm just trying to think of what else was there.
He goes, I'm taking the Reaper stand and not playing until the stuff gets fixed. I went on strike for a while, a good 6-7 months before I decided to come back.
That's...
That was a good riot, let me tell you. Call of Duty all day long.
I mean, you get back on the game and we'll talk about your salary, truly. You know what this is about. Talk about your salary when you get back on here.
It is I, Belvedere. I need more tea.
Oh boy. I'm not getting... Get your own damn tea.
Oh, you commoner!
For overclaim now?
Overclaim is dumb, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I mean, we can...
Let's not even touch it.
Pretty much talked about... We've talked about the weapon balancing already. Should we talk about gear?
Yes. Let's get into the PvP part of the video.
So, armor is so much the same. Honestly, I feel like... How can I say this without alienating people? I feel like armor is just to sell DLCs now. I really do feel like that.
Yeah, that's just reskinned. Like, this new one with the Argos is literally the Defari, but different.
We can talk about cosmetics on a different video or a different podcast, because we can talk about cosmetics. Let's focus solely on the functionality of it. We can save the cosmetics for later.
Like what we talked about before with like the skinning and the...
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Go ahead and talk about your ideas for it. Go ahead and talk about your ideas for it.
I was saying like... Yeah, COD and MIB. Listen, I think, and this is just for everybody that likes the PvP and certain types of gear, and it would help the PvP community if we had a reskin function or something like that. We should not be forced to wear an armor just because the game requires us to wear it. Like, I get it. Like, if I want to wear a War Dancer's chest piece, and this just goes along with player freedom, like the freedom that you can play the game how you want to play it. If I want to wear the War Dancer's chest piece, which is, I hate it, it's in my opinion, the grossest thing in the game. If I want to wear that and run around in the snow, I think I should be able to do that. I'm sorry, but... There
should be like a chilled and a... There should be something similar to like the Godbreaker. The regular Godbreaker and the chilled.
There needs to be something like this. There needs to be either... There's ways they can fix it. There needs to be either armor that is the same thing but different thing, or they could just add it to where, like, you know how we have bulk plating and stuff like that? They need to add that with the status effects of temperature. Why can't I just craft something like a fire element? I won't say fire element, but you get what I'm saying, like heat element, and you can just throw that on your armor.
Heat insulated and cold insulated?
Yeah, like why don't they do that for armor? And why don't they just... Or they could just have it to where we could wear armor. And with the DLCs, instead of it being, and I'm sorry to say this, kind of a pay-to-win thing, because instead of looking for the Defari special thrall to make the Defari, I could just get the DLC and have the ability to get whatever I want. You know what I mean? Like that's not really balanced at that point. It's kind of pay-to-win. But I should be able to get the Defari,
honestly,
and then instead of the DLC, hold on. Instead of the Defari, or not Defari, the DLC giving you special stats and armor, why don't they just make that as a skin? Why can't I get the Defari and then put like the Black Dragon type look onto my Defari? Maybe I want to wear some heavy bomb. Maybe I want to look like a Silent Legion player, but I wear it with light. You know what I mean? Like, why can't I do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't I PV this stuff up? Maybe I want to run around with loincloth on, dude, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, I wish you could get the armor set of the skeleton warriors, the Legion warriors. I've always wanted that set.
Like, they should just add the cosmetics to be actually cosmetics.
Yeah, and as has a glamour, you can just put it on your gear,
yeah,
and you
man,
can rename
like,
it.
Why does, you know,
But
you know how many people be running
yeah,
around with like the black dragon look on them, dude, with like Darfari? They just be
that'd be pretty
rolling,
cool.
dude. Like, I think it just
If
adds
he's
more
wearing heavy
freedom
armor,
and
no,
more
he's not wearing
individuality to the player instead of
it would
everybody
add
wearing the
more
same
flavor
thing.
to the game, honestly.
Yeah, people that
Yeah,
want to
it
come
would
in
add a
here
lot
and
more flavor to the
PvE,
game.
and me wanna, maybe I just don't like the look like I'm a half drunken pirate with a one tip brawl. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I want to look, you know, fancy. Maybe I want to look like
Hey,
my
Silver
my
Knights, welcome
old
to
way
the
of doing
stream,
things.
man.
Like, you know what I mean?
They're adding enchantments soon. They're adding enchantments soon.
Enchantment.
That's what
That?
corruption is going to be for.
Oh, sorcery?
That's in Truly. Truly said.
We can get on that
No, he
later.
said enchantments to weapons, which is
Why?
kind of crazy. I don't
That's
know,
the
man.
last thing.
Well, let's focus on what's here. Let's focus on what's here.
Yes, that's the last thing we need right now.
Cosmetic changes.
You know, I'm really wanting to rock some of my old, like, builds I used to wear. Like, maybe I want to like the old Sobek build that I used to run with, but with white.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But like, yeah, like you were saying though, like armorers should have the ability to make chilled version of the specific armors that they already make. Like if I if I have a Banar Hammerhands, I'll want the desert gear, but can we make a like a heat fire on the Yog's touch would be obnoxious.
That would
really
be,
obnoxious, truly.
That would
It's
be
toxic, truly. It's toxic, truly. Stop it. But yeah, like there should be like a heat insulated.
Yes, they need to add it to where I can make
Darfari
my
armor set.
They need to make it to where I can
with
wear my
its own
armor
cosmetic
wherever I wanna
exchange. Imagine a full legendary guy and an encumbrance cosmetic. Oh man, that's me. That's me. That would literally be me.
Let's stay focused. Let's stay focused here. We're getting.
It says, imagine a full legendary guy. Yeah, no, and an encumbrance cosmetic just as a disguise. Lord.
I mean, that would add a new.
Yeah, that pretty much
be
me.
PvP though, but like, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, because you'd never know. You'd never know.
I mean, after fighting him for a minute, you might, but then like.
Yeah.
I just
okay,
I don't want to wear a War Dancer chest piece no more. I've literally changed my build around to take loss of stats just to look different. I swear, dude. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I got you.
I want to replace my god eye with the helm of the brute and have it dyed up and stuff. You know, I don't want this kind of play where I'm forced to play and look a certain way. Nothing much, right?
Yeah, this is why I try to get us to the cosmetics in another video. We got too off task. Let's get back into PvP.
Make the armor stat bonuses added separate for the non-dungeon armors.
Say it again.
Make the armor stat bonuses added separate for non-dungeon armors, so I could wear the DLC plate without pissing about the accuracy bonus. Like, basically, yeah, that's what we're basically saying. Is like, if I wanted to look like an assassin in the assassin's gear, like, I'm like, dude, think about how my channel's branded, and just imagine me running around with like the shaman headpiece, that with the skull, like I could spice my character up and be my own character. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be able to have that.
It's kind of like that on PC, but we're getting off topic. We can save that for another video.
Yeah, okay.
We can save that for another video.
Alright, so back to PvP.
Straight PvP. None of this PvE shit anymore. Fuck that shit. Shit's gay. Alright,
no, whoa.
I'm kidding. Let's see. Since we gotta do it, man. We gotta talk about the cheating. We gotta talk about the cheating, man.
Oh my god, bro. The DDoS,
that's all that's left. That's all that's left.
The undermeshing is unreal, dude. You can't even tell if people are cheating anymore because there's so many cheaters.
I know, truly. That's the whole point. So you'd have the option. But yeah, like the undermeshing, the DDoSing, the exploiting, the duping, all this has to really be like.
It has to be addressed, dude.
It has to be addressed, man. There's no way around it.
And the fact that the admins aren't like no, not trying to be mean or not, but the admins and the actual official servers can't really be there because they're not active enough.
I didn't say the N-word. What N-word? I didn't say any N-word.
Listen, the admins and official were too busy doing stuff with the game and all that stuff to be able to go to each official that has some report about it for some cheating. And
there needs to be dedicated servers.
There needs to be dedicated servers, and there also needs to be actual, like, something to do with that, because there's too much of the... You can still dupe... Yeah, you can still dupe, bud. There's too many people that are undermeshing, and if they're not undermeshing, they're DDoSing. If they're not DDoSing, they're lag switching. If they're not lag switching, there's just too much... They're duping. If they're not duping, then they're insulting you and calling your cousin a punk.
And many not nicer things. A lot of bad things.
But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's got to the point that that's probably why the devs don't touch on the PvP community as much. It's just because...
Honestly, we need them more now than ever. The game is gonna... They're adding a whole new map soon, man.
We do. We need...
Like, this is the time where they need to step up and really help us. Because, I mean, like... we try our best. Like, we listen to what they're saying, and hopefully they listen to what we're saying. Like, if we... Like, this video, we really didn't want to say anything, like... too off the wall and we want the devs in here, like,
DDoS
communicating with us.
Official. That's kind of hard to do since the way that the servers work, it don't work that way.
Yeah.
Unless they hid the entire player list, it'd be kind of hard to do that. And even then, hitting the server itself offline is pretty easy, so it wouldn't be... That's not even right. It's all it is anymore, is DDoSers or undermeshers. Exploiters, that's just it. The PvP is in a rough state right now that we need to address this, and we need to get it fixed. Dupers, that takes a backseat in my opinion. I mean, it shouldn't, but it does, because I could fight somebody and they can dupe all they want, and I'll just keep getting more stuff from them. But the minute you shut off a server and you start DDoSing people's internet personally, you're breaking laws, man. You're going out of your way to break laws, and I think the only way that you can
it's really not even about the game anymore at that point. It's about who can keep somebody off the server.
Right, it's turned into a personal matter, and it shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't have to live in fear of me going onto an official server to play officially in a server when I have a hate community or whatever chasing me that wants to sit here and DDoS me every time they get a chance.
Pretty much, yeah. I've even had that happen to me from one guy because I raided them, and that's because they raided my stuff. And the funny thing is, I already gave them all their stuff back, and that guy came online, he still DDoSed me. It's like, bro, like there's no civility about it. There was no civility about it at all.
Should we talk at all about how we think you should be able to bring your character to another server? Because I think they should. If you have a character on
I
official,
don't know, man.
You not bring everything with your character, but just the feats and the attributes and the level. You should be able to bring that with your character.
I feel like that would change the dynamic of the game.
No,
because it's not like Ark.
More 60,
it's not like Ark.
I know it's not like Ark. You're not bringing stuff to invade another server, but you're going to another server without having to re-level up and do all that stuff. You're coming in naked, of course, but you're going to have your level and all that stuff to stop stuff.
Blizzard is... I think Blizzard is a much larger company than Funcom. Even though that they just got bought by Tencent, I'm not sure if they have the staff to actually do that. They'd have to keep developing silver. That's what I think.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they do. It doesn't bother me any. I'm just
They'd have to continue. Yeah.
He says.
Granted, they have us, man. They can hire people in the community to do this job.
Yeah, I know, and they don't. And
they really could.
They really could make a test live server on console. I have not seen one test live server on console. Why do we not have that? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this.
Oh, if Seek says you need to chill about the transfer stuff, man. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that, Seeks.
Why?
I'm not down for that transfer.
You have a character that's level 60 and you get kicked off the server, and now you have to go to another server. Why can't you bring your character you just made in that server to that server?
I feel like that changes the dynamic of the game far too much.
That's fine. All right. Like I said, it doesn't matter.
It's just too much.
It does not matter.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
We need to talk about how there's not test lives on console. Why do we not have that ability? People on PC, I get it, they're a high community, but they're all using mods and they're using stuff that alter the game in a way that it's not the same as the core game. People on console don't have that ability.
Well, let me be frank. Conan Exiles is two very different games. There's the PC version and then there's the console version.
It's night and day, dude.
Console version, it is not. It's barely. It's like two separate dimensions, dude. It's like you're watching two different games.
And let's like I said, we'll talk about this.
Exactly.
Why is it? Because like I'm not even trying to throw shade at it, but let's be honest here. Let's be honest, right? I'm not throwing shade. But how long does it take me to find all these exploits and these little tricks and all this PvP nonsense that break the game, compared to the 2 or 3 weeks they get on Test Live? It takes me 1 to 2 days. 1 to 2 days I can figure out all this broken.
Oh, there he is.
What happened? I was getting scared for a minute. Don't do that to me.
I thought I died. You actually lagged out.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm still here.
I was kind of scared. I thought the stream was gonna die.
Yeah, no, the stream's alright. Alright.
Reaper stream crash.
Woo! Just send me an invite real quick. I'll come back in.
Alright, got you.
But like I said, where did I leave off? So I know where I left off.
I don't remember. You were talking about something important. I want to say I'm slow. I have
failed
a
to
really low attention
request
span.
the game. You have to send another one.
Jesus.
Oh, test live on console. It takes me no time to find out anything wrong with 1 to 2 days against their 3 weeks or so that they use with test live. It wouldn't surprise me any. But you know what I'm saying.
You better stop it, Oaks. Stop it, Oaks. Don't bring him into this.
I'm not streaming anything right now.
No, Oaks is over here talking about Daniel. Don't bring him up.
We're not talking about him.
Just chill out.
Stop. We're not talking about him.
This is a wholesome video. We're not talking about any explicit content here. I'll try to invite you again.
Alright, go ahead.
You too, Oaks. Let me try and get you back in here.
I'm trying.
See this guy? Bro. He's fucking sleeping. He's fucking sleeping in our fucking podcast. It's ridiculous.
Alright, but no, what I'm saying is,
now you're sleeping on the table. What the hell's wrong with you? Get out of here.
I make my bed where I want. Leave me alone.
Go ahead. But yeah, somebody brought it up, and they should. They really do. They really do, dude.
And people like us could test it and tell them. Because some things that are broken to us may not be broken to PC. You know what I'm saying?
Hope said you're slacking.
Listen, bro, I do from time to time.
Sit down. Sit down.
I'm waiting for everything to load in with your PvE base.
Oh. It's PvP based. It just looks PvE.
Quit lying.
It has layers. Right. It has layers,
lying.
Dude.
Lying. Why are you lying on a podcast?
Shut up. Shut up. Let's continue.
Alright. Okay, we're back. Alright.
But yeah, definitely should have a test live. No question for console. It just has to.
There's not a lot of console support from the devs, and it hurts because I feel like.
And the funny thing is that we make up the population for this game. Console makes up the population for this game. We should have a test live.
It'd be pretty cool if we was able to get some because the console community's small. Why don't we just bridge the in between? I know it's a PlayStation Xbox thing, but I think maybe in the future, because they are adding a friends list.
Honestly, that's not a bad idea.
If they added
it's not a bad idea to branch together the cross-platform. Yeah.
It would be
PC. I kind of want to say PC as well, but
leave PC out of it because PC's a whole different.
Yeah, man, because that is a whole different game.
I'd already deal with exploiters on console. I don't need all that.
Like they got they got their own problems. I don't want any of
that. The console, I'd rather not get bowed down with a max accuracy build with free aim from some dude across the map. Sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, PC is just a whole nother monster.
Fly hacks, we love you, but stay over there, dog. Luna, we know Morgan's waiting for it. He's waiting.
Yeah, pretty much. So
and
we got a point there. That's the only thing.
I think that the devs are going to be doing some kind of cross-platform because they're adding a friends list in the game. So that brings me to that idea that they're trying to maybe do that.
They could implement a cross-platform. They could.
Am I streaming on Twitch as well? No, I am not streaming on Twitch at the moment. Okay, so back to what we was talking about. Besides the test live, and all that stuff, what was the exploiters, right?
The duping, the hack. I guess can we call it hacking? I don't think we can call it hacking. It's just
it's not
exploiting.
Hacking. It's just exploiting.
Hacking would give them credibility, they're not that credible, man. They're just DDoSing. That's an
what
issue
if they take
itself.
the time to fix it? Well, that's the thing, is it's kind of hard to fix something that's already out there, because I'm going to be completely honest, we don't have a lot of think about all the things you see on Test Live, right? All the people that live stream it. There's no shade to be thrown on anybody that live streams it or does anything to do with it. When they test Live, they are not testing PvP parts of the Test Live. They are
really
not
just
testing it. They're
showing
testing
the game, that's it.
Yeah, they're just showing it. They're not using Test Live for what Test Live should be used for. Testing the mechanics. I used to test
That's
video
the
games,
most
right?
important
And
thing.
usually when you do what we call game testing video games, you run that
Test the
thing
games?
several times. Yeah, I used to test video games.
Oh, you never
And
told me that.
you run it a lot. If you beat this guy with this combo, you try that combo with something else, you do this combo, you go through multiple different variants of what happens to see if you can change what the game is to make it solid.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's probably why I'm really good at figuring out all these bugs. No. Because I use that same idea. Like, why, like, if they had a test lab, I could figure out everything wrong with the patch coming up easily. Even Firespark did it, and he's not even a PvPer, and he tells it in his video, he's not a PvPer, and he's finding out that the Thrall nerf is not going to stop the PvP problem.
I think they only reduced their health by like 10%.
Dude, we're not even.
Which ain't jack shit, to be honest.
They didn't do anything to
excuse
the
language, but
dude,
yeah, honestly, yeah, it's not gonna do anything.
The most balanced I've had a Thrall in a server would be 0.5 damage multiplier taken towards players, and then their damage taken increased. That was it. Like, you have to hard nerf them, and they still do lots of damage, but at least they're fightable.
At least you got a chance. At least you have a chance. That's what basically, yeah.
I also think when it comes, or do a clan battle server, like a last clan standing, if you die, you're out. That's some Hunger Games type stuff, but
I've thought about that.
I'm already talking to somebody. We're talking about making a server and bringing.
Yeah, go ahead and talk
PvP.
about the server. Go ahead and talk about the server.
The server that I'm wanting to bring is a real PvP server. Everything is PvP. There is no thralls. Nobody will have any fighter thralls. The only thrall you'll get is a dancer, and he cannot be leveled from the XP multiplier, and he cannot be armed, which means you have one dancer that can stop your corruption early game, but you cannot take him out of your base, and you cannot fight with him. It's all PvP. There's no horses, no thralls. You farm the bosses.
No
the bosses will be nerfed. Pets are gone. They're not going to be there either. It's going to be a purist PvP. There is no thralls. If you have thralls, you will be banned. Even then, you should
That's pretty
only
much
have one.
That's pretty much the thing.
When you think of it, when you go from PvEC or PvE, when you see PvP, you think that the thralls are going to be gone, because it's player versus player. But that's not the case. Honestly, they removed thralls from PvP. I'm honestly okay with that. I'm not even lying.
A lot of people. I'd be on board, but I'm not trying to alienate the people away.
I'm not either.
Like,
but
I don't really collectively hate thralls, but like it's just they do way too much damage. They can be buggy, and when they do work, they do an absurd amount of damage. Like I felt like for a long time that people are over reliant on that kind of mechanic, and there just needs to be some significant change. Like the server that Reaper was on earlier with the point, what was it, .01?
It was on what?
For the damage modifier?
The
private server on now.
The one that I'm on has a 0.5, it's basically halves at 50%, and then it increases the amount of damage they take.
Okay. So yeah, that'd be pretty much 50%. Like,
that's not true. You can still go into a PvEC and have your thrall kill somebody. Because the bug
outside of raid time, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He asks, what are you thinking for stats of this PvP server? I'm thinking of just letting people, putting the thrall maximum at 1, and the minimum of 1. So we can have a dancer, you can have crafting thralls. Probably the player, everything's going to stay the same.
The fighter thralls.
Everything's probably going to stay the same as official, as close as possible, besides maybe XP
bosses
game.
are going to be weaker.
Yeah,
bosses are going to be weaker just so it'll be easier to get stuff.
Yeah. Well, I've given that comment to the community, in my community, and it seems that a lot of people are for it, dude. A lot of people are tired of getting ran over. A lot of people are tired of getting one-shotted. A lot of people are tired of PvP things that happen in PvP that are not PvP. Killing them.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody kills me in PvP, you know, hats off to you, you done it. But if somebody kills me with a thrall in PvP, okay, good job. You gotta have your thrall one-shot me. Big stink.
Big stink. I'm anger. That's usually how it goes.
It's just like, wow, you let your thrall do all the fighting because you stood on a horse and let your thrall fight. Wow, You're so good.
If he's on a horse, he's probably trying to kill you too.
Yeah. Just run you over, stagger you.
Let's talk about broken throw. Let's talk about broken throws, like You talking about broken throw? He's talking about like Delencia Snowhunter or Leon, or
what does he mean by broken? Because they are broken, but does he mean like they're not working?
I'm getting attacked by thralls out of raid time now. Yeah, we've touched on that.
Yeah, we already talked about that at the very start of the video.
We talked about that. Trust me, we talked about that. That was the first thing we touched on.
It, like a
Absolutely.
Recap. The thrall needs just.
I mean, like, yeah. Yeah, like that mechanic is ridiculous. That
mechanic is an easy thing you could have tested when you was messing with the game, when you was in test live. But like I said, we don't have test live on console, so that's all.
And what's worse is a lot of the big YouTubers for like PC Conan Exiles don't play anymore.
They don't.
So.
Like you'd think somebody on test live like Flyhacks would be able to get a good idea of what PvP would do, but he don't play it anymore. Nobody on the
really doesn't.
All the greats, dude. All the PvP greats that everybody used to watch back in the day that made us
Joshua
really good.
Known.
Nobody plays no more.
Flyhacks, all of them don't. They don't play it anymore. If they do, they don't upload.
There was. I'm not even that. Like, honestly, I'm not even that big of a YouTuber, but I had a good following for a while. I stopped playing.
Because the game honestly was so imbalanced to the point where like a lot of the older crowd just left.
Guy says,
and that's not to
pair thralls with 16k HP and picked a Chevy and Ajah's Bay. That is ridiculous, dude. Those are war gods. Yeah. That's not even a thrall anymore.
Actually, the bears aren't that powerful because their modifiers are too high.
You put a fucking war paint on them and you give them some boosted strength, you'll be thinking otherwise.
Seeks, stop it. Seeks is pretending to be thralls.
Imagine all the healing you could put on them too, dude. Nah, dude, that's broken. Infinite life.
And besides the fact that you can buff their strength with like pork skins and like exotic feasts,
we had a dude that leveled our
entire clan, that dude had like 28k health. That dude had 28k health.
You talking about Felipe?
Yeah, he had like 18k or 28k health, something like that.
Raids, bro. Raids against fighter
He survived
thralls.
like 2 Delencia Snowhunters and a Leon by himself.
Dude, he was a god! That was Zeus if it was any Zeus in this game, bro, I'm telling you. He made the Reaper chess want to learn tips.
And Minigun. Flax made a raiding video about raiding a vault with no. How do you raid a vault with no bombs?
You don't need to. You just have your thrall attack your. That's another thing. Let's talk about the offline raiding. Yeah, let's talk about how you can raid people while it's PvE time. You know how you can attack players the same way, like we was just talking about how you can attack other players.
Can you offline raid?
Yes. Your thrall does damage to their structures when it's not PvP time. You can have somebody exit your clan, aggro the thrall, climb up the wall, or at least where it can hit, and just bait the thrall to knock their stuff down at any point in time in the game and offline somebody. That needed to be tested.
It was really. I heard it was really bad when the oils came out.
Oh my god.
Remember, Oaks was talking about that. Oaks and Big Brain is members of our clan. They were telling us about when they were on the server together before we met them. This guy had brought this guy brought a thrall to their base. It was I don't remember if it was a berserker or whatever. I think it was a Kithis flesh tear. They gave him a sword of Crom stacked with penetration oils. It killed every thrall in their base and destroyed their base.
It was bad, bro.
By himself.
I'm just telling you.
By himself, no bombs. I mean, like I'm being for real about this. This is not nothing to like say like anything bad about the game, anything bad about Kuncom. We're just being honest about the product that we played for years, dude. I came into this game a month after release, and I've still been playing.
I used to play on the PC before my PC went poo-poo.
He's played on PC. He's played on PC, and he plays on console. Like, we've had just as much experience as any other older player, and I'm telling you, this game has had issues, and we only wanted to see it get to the point where it can be the most, where it can do the most possible good as a product. This is the whole point of this stream. The whole point. It's not to discredit Funcom. It's not to talk bad about other players. It's literally to talk about the game itself. So, like, I'm being totally honest about everything. and I feel like the game could be so much better if they put a lot more time and effort into it. Because it's the PvP community that brings this game together, man. That's the truth. Minigun Funcom. Let's talk about muskets.
No. Let's not. Give it a month.
Go ahead. Yeah, man, here we go.
Give it a month.
Doomsday. Mr. Doomsday over here knows everything.
Give it a month. If they're adding everything, they're adding a musket. Give it a month. We already have dragon powder. Give it a month. It's gonna be a one shot. Watch. Right off the rip.
Kind of.
Rolling? Nah. What's rolling?
Silver. These survival games, man, brings up the worst in people. It's like
Musket,
I mean, I've done some things.
Stop! You're giving them ideas. Last thing we need is debuff arrows.
That's pretty normal. A lot of people do that. Like, people will send you hate messages. I mean, I won't. I'll just come after you. That's pretty much the only thing with me. I'll just come after you, but I won't send you hate messages like that.
I just ignore people.
But yeah, like these survival games, man, bring out the worst in people. I've heard stories about people who like been friends for like a long time. And they just inside clans,
yep.
Stuff like that. It's the aspect of the game, man. It's the aspect of the game.
So we've been streaming for about 2 hours now.
It's stupid how I can just join a server at level 25, KO a thrall and raid a base. It's like that, dude.
Let's take some questions here, like actual like PvP questions, like
I feel that Viper, but like the game is built to where you can build up very easily if you have the knowledge to. This is a knowledge-based game. That's why it's so easy for a lot of people to build up. If you know how to do stuff, it takes no effort, which is good for a survival game because I mean you've done it. It's repetitive, but this is a very fun game. So I'm not too against that with the thralling.
How do you feel about the
Pretty
rolls?
much. How I feel about the rolls? I mean, I'm used to it now. I didn't. It was when it first came out, honestly.
Oh yeah.
When they reduced the movement was just terrible. Movement was.
Bad.
They even said it themselves. They were too heavy-handed. It was just bad. Like the rolls weren't bad. The rolls were not bad. It was the movement that was really bad. And if you jumped down a cliff, you die because you couldn't come back to the mountain. Like if you jumped too far away from a cliff, you'd be dead. It'd be over with.
I think with how it is now, the roll, if it was sped up just slightly, it'd be nice. But if it didn't, it wouldn't matter.
It really, yeah, it's not bad. I'm adjusted. It's not bad.
Without agility, I think you should come up a little bit quicker than you do now. But
depending on the armor, if it's light armor, yeah.
Right, but like as is, when you learn that how the game works and everything, it's not really a big factor. I think the dodge is fine the way it is because now there's stagger frames you got to worry about and iframes.
It was alright.
Adds new elements.
There's a lot of
fighting.
people there, but it was alright. Wasn't too bad. Oh, my bad about the whole undermesh video thing. I legit thought he was undermesh, but he was wrong. That war was pretty decent. It was better than
until some things happened.
Yeah, we're not gonna bring that guy up. We're not. Hey, we're not gonna bring him up. We're just gonna leave it as is, cause I don't want to have to deal with that. Yeah, the DOS. That was the only thing.
That's what killed
me. Yeah,
me.
man.
I was gone after that. I was like, I'm not playing any more official until this stuff is fixed. Because at least on privates, everything's double checked, and you have somebody you can always talk to about it.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, Silver, it was a pretty good war so far. It wasn't too bad. I mean, I was trying to get rid of you guys, like I was, I'm pretty sure it was you who put those horses next to Telus Island. I was pulling those every day. Like legit, I was. It really was.
All right. Let's stay focused on the matter here. We don't talk about that.
Nothing. Hope you weren't too mad about it. That was me. Yeah, that was me, dude. You didn't put a roof on it. I'm sorry, you didn't put a roof on it. I know, yeah, it was. I mean, you should have seen what I did back in the day. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, man, it was a fun war for what it was.
You want to talk about the fact that you can lay down and look through walls? And grab people's shit?
I don't do that. I don't do that. Like legit, I won't use any exploits like that.
No,
like
right on. I know. I'm just saying that's the thing we should really talk about.
I mean, if you don't put a ceiling on your base, I can guarantee you I'm gonna build something close by and try and get in. Like I won't reach through anybody's walls or anything like that. That's cheating. Like straight up, I don't do that shit. Never have, never will.
Well, people do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hold it against them. I mean, that's why you double layer your shit. Lift it up off the ground. I learned that now because a certain Xbox player, when he got on PS4, he started fucking stealing from my wheels without blowing anything in. I don't think people can sickle raid anymore. I'm glad they can't. Oh yeah, should we talk about the ob camping?
Oh yeah,
because that's toxic in itself. That's really toxic. Glitching into the ob camping. I mean, like, sorry for breathing into the mic like that, but it's like it's a really touchy subject.
I just wish it was more like PC, where if somebody went through the ob, you could just go right through it and be there.
Poking at his walls, nice.
Crom's poxy balls.
Poxy balls. You know what that means?
Yes, I know what that means.
Okay.
So is there anything else we need to talk about?
Just taking taking questions and just general banter. Pretty much it. We pretty much covered everything with Yep. Yeah, that's kind of why it was a touchy subject. Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying. Op camping is a touchy topic because it is a strategy, but some people just sit there for hours on end. It could be on like a 10-man server and people will still op camp, which is retarded. Like, just go play the game, dude. Whereas like legit, if it's a straight war going on, I get it because that's all about area control. But when it's like no one is really warring with anybody and it's just chill and then you're just being an ass about it on a somewhat dead or just relaxed server, it's ridiculous. And I've had that happen on multiple occasions.
We all use that to get come-ups. No,
Really? No. Come-ups when it's funny. Funny. It's real funny. Funny guy, Reaper. But actually, you know what? Yeah, blocking off resources. Let's talk about that.
Honestly, I think blocking off resources shouldn't really get you banned. I mean, I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna be the enemy of everybody here and say, I was one of those people that used to go to servers, and if I was intending to wipe them, I would block off Brimstone, I'd block off the caves, and I would have you starve out. But that was in itself a strategy at that time. That was a real strategy. It happens in real life.
Nobody really knew about the walking underwater too.
Right, and they didn't know you could go underwater and get Brimstone. But like what I'm saying is like, I don't think you should be banned for that.
Seeks called you a chump.
What?
Seeks called you a chump for blocking off resources.
Well, the thing is like when you're going to wipe a server, right? The idea is that you want to have the alpha not be, because they're going to think that's a luxury and not necessary. They're not going to stop you from doing it because they don't see it as necessary until they realize that they've given you almost all their bombs. And they don't have that luxury of having all those like resources. You know what I mean? Like that was a strategy. You're going to make them come to even ground in resource terms very quickly if they aren't being aware. Like I also see the other side of it. And I also see that is an area where you're supposed to get Brimstone.
Because that really employs toxic play, man. You gotta remember that too.
Here's where it gets good. I know, but that's also a real-life strategy of war. Take over the resources, you win the war.
I know. Trust me,
If Funcom really wanted to do something about that, Funcom, I'm looking at you. If you was serious about doing this, why not just make it to where you can't build in the
That's true. They should do that.
Why can I build in the springs if I can't build in the springs?
Silver just said that. Yep. Honestly, they should make it unblockable. They should.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't block it, then it shouldn't be blockable. I should not be able to build in there. It even said it used to. There was even a tip that way back in the day, and they will deny it, and everybody will deny it, but there was an actual tip that said if you are the courageous one, you could build in those areas, but it'll cause lots of eyes to be on you. It was an actual tip in game. I gotta find it.
I remember that.
There was a real tip that said that. So they promoted toxic play like that, and then now they're withdrawing now that they're seeing that they're losing players because that's toxic. But it's also a real mechanic in war. If you want to do something about it, then play it the right way. Don't ban somebody for a mechanic that you put in the game. Implement a mechanic that stops them from building in there. That's my opinion. I'm not trying to attack anybody, of course, but that's just, I'm frustrated about that because that used to be a go-to strategy that used to nullify and kill alphas quickly. It was real easy because they'd come at you with their 20, 30-man alliance, and you'd defend, and you'd get bomb, and then you'd counter-raid them. And by the time they realize it, they have no more bombs, you have all the bombs, they have no more resources to repair, while you have all the resources, because you knew more about the game of PvP than they did. And it was easy to counter people blocked rim. All you'd have to do is go and build an outer perimeter of it. That's it. That stops people, because you land claim.
Yeah, just control the land claim.
That's an alpha thing. There was a real thing with that, and that's happened before. And I've come to servers where alphas were really good, and they did that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, let's talk about the land claim. We didn't even cover this yet. Bostic, you remember what we said the idea for that? The TC.
Oh man.
And stuff like that.
Yes, the T. That's what we forgot to. Yeah. So, if you hadn't known, I played this game not too long ago called Memories of Mars. It's basically has the same engine as Conan Exiles. It runs on the same engine. So in that game, the building mechanic is pretty much the same. There's a few different changes in terms of like building, stacking, and stuff like that. But they have an administration panel that can be set for only for whoever can use it, any alliance or anything like that. There's an alliance system in the game as well. So there's not really any reason why that can't be translated over to here. The tool cupboard or the administration panel in that game allows you to set it up to where you put resources into it and manage the decay timer, as well as manage who can enter and access anything in the base. So really, to fix the land claim mechanic, you need something like the tool cupboard or the administration panel for Conan. It would make it so there wouldn't be unnecessary massive bases with such a heavy decay timer. Because like you could come in and the decay
it
would too, because people would have to build smarter. It would fix a lot of issues.
Like, yeah, you can have this land claimed right here, but you're gonna need a tool cupboard for it, and
you have to put resources into it. Yep.
It makes more incentive for people to be out and doing things instead of dying. You know, it just makes it more fair. We don't have people just land claiming the entire map.
It makes it more realistic for the game. And it
also
can fix a lot of problems.
It also stops people from getting banned again for doing something that's in the game that can get you banned, which is mass land claim. And we can talk about overclaiming too. That needs to be fixed as well.
Man, dude, that's how they got us on 3595.
That's all they
did,
bro.
Two separate clans pretty much logged in, logged out, and then like land claimed in front of our base. We couldn't build for 3 days.
They were on our base.
Could not, pretty much. We could not build for 3 days in our own base. We couldn't put shit down. We couldn't put beds down. We couldn't put chests down.
Base type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's literally what happened. Anytime we went to go blow it up too, they would tell another clan that they were allied with to come attack us. And they came on horses and thralls. When we killed them, they just DDoSed us.
Yeah, it was bad. But I'm glad we was able to get that out of the way, because that tool cupboard idea is a huge idea that needs to be looked at, because
I mean, it's not like we haven't been saying this before. That's literally something that's been said multiple times. It really has. Any questions? I mean, I think that's about everything, isn't it, Reaper? I guess we can give a synopsis about PvP. I mean, really, if a lot of those things died down, I think PvP would be much more enjoyable.
Wouldn't people spam TCs for claim? Well, the thing about it is you can't have a TC right next to a TC.
You'd have to have. If they did that, they'd have to feed resources into it because the TC would not do anything. The TC can't do anything unless it has resources.
Like the best way to take out what stops me from just going up to their TC that they just put down and take their stuff out.
Yeah, you can really just blow it up. You can just blow it up and just take it. Because that's how it is on Rust. You can
it made it for very interesting type of builds too. You couldn't just build a pillar base without having TCs around it to stop trebs.
Yeah.
Like it would make it a lot more fair. You wouldn't have to make a bunch of foundations all the way out to land claim. You just put a TC right there. You build it in a good structure. Boom, you got a TC with land claim around this radius. You know what I mean?
It wouldn't stop anybody from making a massive wall around their section, but I mean, not too many people are building on the ground anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you can make your wall, but if I'm already in your base, that wall is pointless.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah.
And if I could build on your wall, because there's no TC there, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That would probably fix overclaim too.
That would actually, yeah.
Yeah, because you could do that. And anything that anything in that general area where you have your TC and they take it from you is theirs. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, pretty much. So that means people would have to have multiple TCs.
You could even capture, not just that, but you could capture someone's base. You know what I mean? You could actually conquer someone's base.
Without even having to do that.
Destroy it, without having to actually destroy someone's base.
That would be an interesting mechanic, and it would change the overall game. It would change the setting of the game, honestly. It would mean a lot.
And then also
raiding would actually mean a lot more.
Too. Not just that, but the hidden bases would work, because you can't run around with a land claim and look for land claim if there's no land claim to be had. Hidden bases would work. Like, you'd be able to go off the grid.
It would change the structure of the game. It would be very interesting to see. Because, like, raiding would actually raiding already means something, but, like, actually taking someone's base would really mean something.
Oh, it would. Imagine the toxic clan that was just talking smack to you and you walk over and take their base, you know?
Not just that. Imagine having a fortress that's been there for, like, years and it's been taken by multiple clans and they just fortify it over and over and just take it.
Yeah.
Or just let it decay.
The dude says he loves the TC idea.
I'm down for it too.
They need to really look at that. Honestly, I think that's a high priority. I really do. It would help server stability and everything.
Yeah, man, server stability would be. Boy.
No more people going to the Warmaker dungeon, fucking shutting down a server.
Making new keys.
Swear to God, dude.
Jesus.
So now we're just taking questions. I mean, is there much else that we can cover?
I think that was most of it.
Flying. No, I'm kidding.
I think clans should have a building cap, like thrall cap. It'll keep from overclaiming. I'm assuming that's what he meant. I'm kind of down for that. If there was a build, how can that be
they can't do that.
How can that be calculated? How can that be calculated if there was a building cap?
I'm telling you, it can't. It won't work. You gotta have a TC, dude.
No, there's another thing too with the memories of Mars. You have to put more. There's this thing called flops. So basically, it's like the resource that's used to put into the actual TC. So depending on how much flops was needed, let's say if you wanted to build more parts of the structure, you would have had, let's say you wanted to get it from tier 3 structure size to tier 4 structure size. You would have to have X amount of flops to put in, so like 3,000 or 4,000 flops. So basically, putting more resources in will allow you to put on 100 more building pieces, or 200.
Oh, you're saying add like the TC and then whatever you put inside the TC to keep it working, and how much you put in there increases.
Yes, if you put more in to get it to the next level, it would allow you to build more for each building. That's for that one building though, and then the next building could do the same thing.
I'm down for it.
So yeah, that's what that already has. There's already a system in place for this type of engine. They could do that. They could do that. They could implement that. And that would fix a lot of the land claim issues. And it would force people to actually have to build into what they have, like thrall bases. Yep. Yep, that's how it is. That's how it is. Like if you put in like, let's say if it like I know for a fact on Memories of Mars, it's administration panel. If you get it to level 3, you get to build an additional 300 building pieces to apply to the base. So that would increase the size. That would increase the size by 100 building pieces. However many building or whatever kind of building pieces you want to apply to it. That's what that would do to that.
Well, we get this too. That all these changes and stuff we've talked about, it's gonna be a long time.
Yeah.
It's gonna take patch.
I mean, like these are really just ideas. Yeah. I mean,
but
if they decide they want to listen.
Needs to come pretty quick.
I don't know, man.
I'd rather
they'll
that
have to
with
figure
the
it
accuracy.
out. They'll have to figure out what they want to do.
The thralls, accuracy, and TC, bro. That's my top 4 priorities.
Really, I feel like they should focus. I feel like they should focus on thralls. Focus on thralls and horses.
Top 4 high priorities.
Thralls, pets,
accuracy. Well, thralls.
Server stability. Server stability is a big one. Server stability is a big thing for me. I mean, it's gotten better, honestly. It's gotten better, but the DDoSing, yeah, it would.
I'm just thinking TC is a really good idea, and it really needs to come. Like, please. What are the best buffs to use in PvP? All of them. All of the crack that you could put in your nose.
Hey man.
All the Crimson Lotus. All of the... I'm just saying that, honestly, all the buffs are really good. But the most used are Encumbrance, Grit, Vitality, and Strength. And Vitality and Strength are usually the most important.
There are the book buffs, but I mean,
book buffs are
up to...
Unless you're going to farm for them all day, every day, and get like a maximum of 20 per week.
And make sure nobody knows you're doing that, because somebody's going to be waiting outside the dungeon for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we don't have immunity there, buddy. Or they'll just run in there with their horse. What do you do if somebody just runs in there with a horse on you? What do you do?
Can you ride a horse in the dungeon? I don't think you can ride your horse in that dungeon.
You can, Bub. There's something that you can do.
I don't think you can. I'll have to see later.
Just ride up on the horse and go into the dungeon. Well, so okay. Anything else, Mars? Do you have any notes of any kind? You said your top 4 was what? You said TC, thralls,
server stability in general.
Server stability.
Really.
Well, that's.
I can't stress that enough, honestly. I mean, that's a very hard thing to work on, but the TC would help. That'd be a part of it.
It would be definitely helpful.
Constant balancing. I guess
Test
not
live
constant balancing. Test live would be great. Test live would be great. Yeah, that's pretty much on 4. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions from the people in the stands?
Anybody in the stream want to know anything interesting that they don't know already? It's our closing statements.
See.
It's a good 2-hour-long stream too. It was
Top
almost 3 hours.
Problems.
You said what?
Useless areas. What do you mean by useless areas, Silver?
When is the next podcast? This dude wants to know. Probably next week, maybe. We could do a weekly podcast or something.
Yeah, we probably could figure something out. Either next Saturday or sometime next week, like Wednesday.
How long does Reaper
I don't
Queen
know about
Poison
Wednesday.
last for? Reaper Queen Poison, your blade should last up to 10 to 11 hits.
I think it's like 15 hits.
The Queen? Oh, yeah, the Queen probably is 15. I know the regular Scorpion, or the regular Poison that you get from the Reaper Queen or whatever, lasts 10. 10 to 15 hits, depending.
What do you mean by what do you mean by useless areas? Like, what do you count as a useless area, Silver?
We already talked about gods.
You got top 4 problems. Blizzard fixed test live by adding a practice mode.
Well, what?
Practice mode. Technically, we have the solo server, but that's not really I mean, what is the solo server? Isn't it just like the? What can we categorize that as? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. If there was a practice mode, but I don't think they ever thought of this as that kind of game where it will be competitive.
No problem.
Can Conan be competitive?
Yeah. If they took it seriously.
Can be, but they'd have to make some changes. They'd have to make some changes. And it's not even anything that's gratuitously drastic. Just take more time to look at the PvP, make changes, add more people to the team that can help develop really not just the PvP.
I guarantee there's a lot of volunteers too. Like, there's a lot of volunteers out there that would freely work, like on Test Live, to help them fix their stuff. There's people out there that even I would do it on my own time just to help them make their game better.
Yeah.
Free. Like,
okay,
most people, they probably pay testers.
You only go there for star metal mech guys. I feel like. Oh, I want something I want to build up there. There is the Frost Temple, but that'd be the only reason. There really is nothing up there except for like
lack of content areas. Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, lack of content areas. Cause I mean, because the Frost Temple could technically be a future dungeon. They could expand upon that, or they could add other areas. They could add more stuff there, but I don't see too much there for them to add into because there's no like. Wait, there's those shrines to Ymir that are up there. There's some big statues, but there's like nothing in them to like really show anything. They're just there. There's just the volcano, and once you're in the volcano has stuff in it. New PS5 would solve so much problems. Man.
It would, but you also got to think about it. If we got a PS5, it'd divide the community.
It would.
It would make it, because it's so much more powerful than PS4, it'd make it that you'd have to have it in order to play.
Yep, you would. What could they do in the snow area to make it more interesting?
Conan to it, but then, like I said, you don't want to cross PS4.
Actually, now that you brought that up, you remember when the Legion Warriors used to drop shit? They don't drop anything anymore.
Oh yeah?
Cause yeah, Silver brought that up. So like going to the snow area, just going past the Bridge of Betrayers and doing the dungeon, and that's it. But like if you would go up there and you would farm for just resources just by killing. They dropped hardened steel, they dropped steel, they dropped hardened steel weapons, they dropped hardened steel tools, they dropped everything.
Asgard for the steel runs.
They even dropped in-game food. They even dropped in-game food, including the rhino stew, the rhino head soup. Yeah. There's like no reason to kill them anymore except for XP. That's it.
Yeah.
The Giants were like that for a little while too. Like if you wanted fast resources, you'd go kill them. Early game, get XP, and then come back and build where you want to build. And he's right, there's no incentive to really build up in the snow. I mean, you can, but like there's no place to really hide up there or build defendably unless you're like building next to the curse wall. He's right about that. There really is not too much incentive to build into the snow unless you really look for good places to build. And
right.
It's Zeke's, sure man, sure. I'm not really playing on the server right now. I'm just been chilling. Like Conan, yeah.
You're gonna help us finish this Region War server so that way we can make that PvP server I was talking about.
Once I get done with my studying, I've got the second job still. So once that's done, just been busy. But yeah,
pretty good.
But yeah, Seeks, I can help you, man. I can help you with that. Teach you some stuff. I thought you've already played Conan before.
So did we cover everything?
I think so.
Do you think we should, like, make plans for another podcast, or do you think we should
go
into
the next
PvE
podcast we could talk about cosmetics.
About our armor?
We could talk a bit about PvE gameplay now, honestly, or we can talk about that.
Or are you talking about PvE gameplay? You talking about just walking up and letting your thrall kill the boss and walking away?
Okay, I got you, Six. I got you. Should we talk? Okay, amassing the stream on both ends. Should we talk about PvE content now, or would you like to see that in another podcast? Because this will be, if we did it now, it would be completely off cuff. If we did it later, it would have more ideas. Because we can talk about PvE content now, we can save that for later.
Yeah.
Where do they stand on your end? I'm not getting anything just yet.
I'm not getting anything just yet. Just waiting.
Touch on it a little. Okay, the wine cellar dungeon. If they do more stuff like the wine cellar dungeon, I think they're going in the right direction. It's honestly the best dungeon that they've made in the game.
He said save it for later.
Okay, Silver. Thanks for stopping in, man. Save for later.
I tried says he wants.
Well, somebody on mine said touch on it.
Touch on it just
save
a bit,
later, okay.
but we'll save like the hardcore stuff
touch
for
on
later.
It just a little bit. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about.
Yeah, there is.
There's a lot of stuff we could talk about,
like
but if they make more content like the wine cellar dungeon,
chest piece and looking weird. I'm tired of it.
Don't be a prude, man. Don't be a prude.
No, I just don't like it. I just want to have the stats from it and look the way I want with the temperature gauge I want.
Yeah, I got you. But yeah, man, if there was more stuff like the wine cellar dungeon. I love this helmet, yes.
Yeah, well,
but I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
It's let it be
perfect.
A skin of your light armor. You know what I mean? Like, you know, maybe I want to wear.
Chat has a delay.
Yeah, chat always has a delay.
Yeah, it does. I figured that.
But like, I
figured that.
Like I said, I just want to be able to wear what I want to wear with what I want and how I want it.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of the PvE content, just the mobs.
The mobs need changed,
I got you.
But
yeah,
need some more stuff in there. But we need to.
That's a whole nother. Yeah. But yeah, just touching on it, I think if they do more stuff like the wine cellar dungeon, it'd be great. It'd be really great.
Right. Yes. Because the boss fight was fun. Unless you're laggy and you get popped up in the air and you wasn't in the blue lights.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Alright, so we touched on a bunch of stuff here. Armor. Like actual armor, do you think that the deduction that it gives you is good for that type of weight class? If that makes sense, do you think that heavy should have more armor value to it, like instead of like 80% to like 85? Or
of course. Of course. I mean, it's heavy armor.
Literally performing the same as medium, but medium gives you the mobility.
Wait, you saying heavy should give you more armor? Is that what they're saying?
I'm saying no. I'm saying like just for a topic for us to talk about. Like, do you think the deduction works well with how the armor weight class is? Like, if I'm rocking heavy and you're rocking medium, do you think that we should be doing like I don't you know what I'm trying to say, like for how
like
heavy
we should be consuming more damage or mitigating more damage?
Yes.
It already is mitigating more, isn't it?
Not really. It's not really that much.
I don't think it should be too significant.
I know, but it's still heavy armor versus medium, you know what I mean? Like, the mobility of the medium kills it. Any mobility will kill it, because its mitigation is so low.
Well, think about it this way from a realistic standpoint. If it's plate armor, the only way you're going to get through plate armor is if you stick something in the crevice.
Right.
Whereas if it were like a brigandine, which a brigandine does have steel plates and it's linen, it functions essentially the same way, but those rivets can break well before the plate armor will ever break.
You know what I'm saying, though, is like it just feels like the heavy armor performs too close to medium, so it makes it kind of.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, that was me.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's say it again.
I can kill a heavy armor in 4 hits, right? And you can, and the same with medium. What I'm trying to say is that it just doesn't feel like heavy armor has a place yet, because medium does the same thing with mobility.
What weapon are you using? What weapon
The spear. Or not spear, you can use the spear or yogs. You can kill someone with heavy.
Armor in 4 hits.
I don't know. It depends on the person, but I'm just saying like the armor just doesn't feel right. It just feels like the heavy's just not good at all. Cause you remember when you ran medium, right? You thought it was good, right? Yeah, we can barely hear you.
You mean when I was wearing heavy?
Right. You know how it was when you'd fight people and you'd die, and you know that it'd be because you're slow.
It was because of the mobility and the speed.
But don't you think that there should be more hyper armor with your hits then if you're in heavy?
I want to say yes, but we really shouldn't throw the hyper armor card out there with armor.
Well, that's how Dark Souls works. The more poise you get.
That's how it was in Dark Souls 1, and honestly, looking back at it, poise was kind of a broken mechanic.
Right, but I get that, but I'm just saying, like, what if they, like, remember when I talked about earlier about removing the accuracy stat and putting toughness and letting that be, like, how much stats you have in the hyper armor realm? Like, if I was...
I see what you're saying.
Like, I think that would be way better. I think I would rather have the ability to put points in and have that hyper armor. Because if you have a lot of hyper armor, you're going to be missing other attribute points, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think you should directly be able to alter that, though.
Go max accuracy and then, you know...
Yeah. But with hyper armor, I don't think you should be able to actively alter that through messing with your attributes. Like, if it was, like, damage mitigation, yes. If it's hyper armor, not directly. You can do that through armor, and you can technically do that through messing with your agility, but...
I know, but the agility has also... It's too much of a difference. Like, you need to differentiate agility from hyper armor, because if you don't, people's going to run light with agility, and I'm going to out-hyper armor heavy armor, and that should not be the case.
That's true. That's true, honestly. Because there's no
like
middle ground there.
It.
Because
I've
you can match
of it. I'll trade with heavy armor.
Actually, you have a point there. Now that you bring that up, you actually can do that. You actually can. You can match the heavy armor agility very easily, and there'd be nowhere to counter it. No way for the heavy armor build to counter it. Because even if they did have the agility, there'd be nothing else in terms of hyper armor to give you. You'd still be even. If it was a tier 2 agility build,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, you would. You would.
You try to run away, you're dead. You try to fight me, you're dead. Like, it just don't.
There's no running away. There's no running away because instinctively you're gonna try to roll. When you roll so slow, it can be predicted like really easily. Really, you don't even have to predict. All you have to do is wait for them and try to get back up, and they can't escape.
But you see my point though. It's like they need to take the hyper armor and the poise away from agility, and make a toughness stat for that. You know what I mean? Like there has to be something, or that weight, make it dependent on the weight class.
That's a good theory. That's a good theory.
Because if they don't, they're going to be running around with agility builds because that's going to help you get up faster as light, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to trade with you in heavy and I'm going to win. Not only do I get more armor from agility, I get higher, I get better come-ups.
The direction it's going to go into.
And, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have better come-up speed, I have better armor, I have better hit damage because my light armor is going to give me a bunch of attribute points to whatever. And I can get 5 strength, and there's nothing you can do. There is 0 you can do.
It's really, if it's a one-on-one situation, yeah, but if it's a...
And if I got Yogs and throwing axes, you're fucked, because the Yog has so much hyper armor, you can't be broken out.
Yeah, pretty much.
I say it day and day again, just 2 agility with the Yog, I cannot be broken out of my heavy attack. I cannot be broken out of my heavy attack, and that is a problem.
How's your tea, Belvedere?
We're not even gonna do this right now. I'm focused right now because I'm thinking how to fix it, because there's just no way to. It has to be relying on weight class, but then you'd have heavy armor running at you constantly, just trying to trade because it can't be staggered. I mean, I still think there should be a stagger, but it needs to be where, like, if you're in the middle of a combo.
That's the thing I'm afraid of too. It should not be reliant on just the armor alone. Because that way, like, if poise were to become a mechanic, it'd be too much like Dark Souls. We'd still be in the same issue. We'd still have the same issue, honestly. Because, like, people would just throw in heavy armor and they just want to trade still. and it really should not just be a trading mechanic type of game.
Right.
I mean, there should be trading. I'm not saying there shouldn't be trading. There should be trading.
There shouldn't be.
But not every single time. Not solely trading. Because then we're stuck with the meta we're with already. There's no diversity in that.
Right. Sorry.
You're good.
But it's light should not have as much hyper armor as it has now. And neither should medium or heavy.
It's a Reaper of Chess. He said he wants to thumb your video down.
Why?
He's just trolling. He's just trolling.
Weight class of weapon. Stagger only for two-handed. Shield give a
Nah, man.
bonus.
No, man. You will see.
How would I know when to go in for a trade or a poke? That's a good question. I'm just throwing out ideas.
You have to.
Like, honestly,
you really have to. Go ahead.
You'd have to really be careful on how you mess with it. But you can't. They need to just. Honestly, they need to just have it to where it's weapon based. Whatever weapon you're using, it's fine. Your poise and all that stuff's based on what weapon you're using. But like we said, the hyper armor and everything, they need to fix how
they
it is
can
with
do
the
that,
weapons.
but they gotta fix the hyper armor.
But they need
they
to
can
take
do that, but they gotta fix
it
the hyper armor.
away from being statable. They need to take it away from being able to put more agility in and be able to hyper armor someone. That is unrealistic. Because everyone's going to put in agility, but because I have light, I'm faster, and because of that, I'm going to hyper armor with you. Like, I have a video out.
Yeah,
I even
light,
put in the
you
video.
can iframe.
Yeah, with
light armor is all about speed.
Oh yeah, but not just that. But I've even have a video out where I was 1v1ing people, and I had a point where I was showing the exact point I was trying to show Mars. If you find it, it says, "Look, Mars, this is proof." It's literally in the video. I'm just openly trading with Heavy. Openly, there's nothing he can do. He can run, but he gonna die. Because I'm so much faster than he is.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Like, that's what I'm trying to say. And that was only with 2 agility. That's not even talking about the 3 to 4 agility meta right now. Agility shouldn't affect your hyper armor, that's all I'm saying. I mean, I get how it does, because it gives you more armor, and the more armor points you have, the more hyper armor value you might have. But they need to take the hyper armor a little bit down from that or something. They need to find something to fix that. Y'all both fired for this podcast. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. We've been thinking about these points for a long time.
Who fired me? Who did I get fired by?
Yeah, you're fired. You're done.
Who fired me? Why am I fired?
It is I, Belvedere. You are fired for not giving me my tea, you commoner.
Oh, here we go. Here we go with this shit again.
Have I ever told you my story of how I slayed the mighty dragon, commoner?
Okay. We probably need it in the podcast. It's been going on for how long? Yeah, dude, this podcast is going on for 3 hours. We gotta cut this short. All right, guys.
We appreciate y'all coming in.
Yeah, appreciate it. The next one will be either next Saturday or later on this week. You will have a date. Since you guys asked for another podcast, it will be on PvE content and... You want to do it on cosmetics too? We can talk about cosmetics, dude.
We need to just cover everything.
I could go all day about cosmetics.
Yeah, we can do it.
I got a lot to talk about.
I do too. I'm tired of wearing a War Dancer's chest piece.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Yeah. It's time to end the podcast, definitely.
Yeah, right,
it's been going on for too long.
I'm getting too much, you know.
Yeah.
But we want to thank you guys for coming out and everything. If you haven't subbed and liked, be sure to leave that like down below and to subscribe.
Big thanks.
We'll probably, like he said, we'll probably have another podcast coming up maybe a week from now, Saturday. It might be later on, earlier. We don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. We'll keep you updated in the upcoming videos. Again, this is Bostic. He has his own channel. It's Mars. I wish it was still Mars Gaming. It stuck out more, but it's Mars. I'm the Reaper of Chess, and I'm glad you all came, and I'm glad y'all contributed to this. Share it out to your friends. Let's see if we can get some FunCon devs to come in next time. Maybe we can banter with them a bit, you know, have some fun. Until next time, guys.
Yep.
Peace out.